it didn't seem like he was playing either. I saw the crowd was interestingly cheering him on, but I don't think he should be doing that. I think that's not sophisticated. I don't think that was. I don't think he's trying to say, "Oh, I'm going to keep people talking about me." I thought he actually meant it. I don't think he's sophisticated enough to know that I'm going to let the crowd follow me like this, like somebody was saying like that Donald Trump. I don't think that. So I think he shouldn't have done that at all. It's really petty, and he's the president. He should act bigger than that.
Kev Hassan?
You know, thank you, CEO. We we have a gullible society. We have people in our country which the opposition want to play smart. You know, like I quote from Mariah: the people don't have the ability to make informed decision. You know, like Mariah said, chief of staff of Mr. Cummings, she said it. The
So
people
you
not
agree
smart.
with it? What are you
The
using it
people,
for?
what, Mariah, you get your time, my dear.
But you agree with it now. You quoting me and agreeing with it. Do you
CEO,
agree or not?
Mariah, let the young man speak, Mariah, please.
CEO, am I
Okay.
protected?
You are.
You
Go ahead,
protect.
proceed.
Okay. So because the folks from the ANC side, the opposition, they feel that our people are not smart enough. So they keep bombarding our people. So this is not for people, is what the president did is for the misunderstanding from the 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 opposition side. For example, CEO, you remember Barack was born in Hawaii, he was born in America, but he got to
Who?
show. Uh, oh, can I speak now?
No,
I,
I
I
sorry, my internet
Barack,
in and out. I was just asking who was born in Hawaii.
Barack,
Obama?
Barack
Okay.
was born. Barack Obama was born in America, but he had to show his birth certificate. Reason because some folks will buy into that misunderstanding. So when folks sometimes, from the person point of view, to do this, not because he want to deal the defense like Tomlin said, no, this is the president. So when folks like the ANC people or the other opposition passing around and giving that misleading information, the president thought it wise to say, you know what, I go to my house, I do this and do that. And that was brilliant on the president's side. The same thing what Obama did, he showed his birth certificate, even though he was born from a white American mother. But because they have people like Mariah and them who would just send out misleading information, so that's why, my brother Tomlin, that's why, because it will slip through the cracks. Please,
Okay.
if you're gonna condemn the president, condemn Obama too and say, "Oh, mama, you are born from a white mother in America. Why you show your birth certificate?" No, you
Okay.
have to do it because of those reasons.
Okay. So, guys, and thank you very much for muting yourself. We were having some echoes. Let me go to Mariah, and then Chairman will take us home from this end. Mariah?
All right, thank you. First, let's be clear. Kev, when I said that the CDC put out misinformation because they don't think our people are able to make informed decisions. You went on and on about how I insulted Liberian people, and you sit on the show tonight to say the same thing and use it and say ANC thing. Our
No,
people
you said that.
are
I'll
not
quote
making
you.
informed decisions. So you quoting me,
I quote
but
you.
you
You,
want somebody. You
Mariah.
wanted to be protected, so protect me.
Oh no, I
Uh-huh.
gotta put it in. You took my
When you
time.
quote
I have to put it
somebody, when you're using a quote to support your argument, that means you're using it because you
I'm
agree
not
with it.
supporting my
So let
argument.
me just say this:
I'm
Kev,
telling you
if
what I'm doing.
let she finish, please. She got to finish up, please.
Let's see.
I
No,
protect her
Kev,
now,
please. Go
Okay,
ahead,
she gave me
Mariah.
one or two, so I gotta
okay.
give
Okay.
her one.
So
Mariah, go ahead.
you know what you do, and so what you're doing is what the intellectuals will call projection. You're projecting on the ANC. Nah, that's CDC MO. They're not ANC. Let me go to the issues. I didn't give out misinformation. If anything, provide checkpoints to the misinformation that you and your government give out. I don't. I'm not perfect, but I try to get my facts right because there's a responsibility that we have on this show to give out the correct information. So don't try to project on me. This president going to the US for UNGA was the sole purpose of his trip to represent Liberia at the UNGA, to speak on behalf of the country, and to present our case to the international community, knowing that we've had a rocky, horrible, terrible relationship with the international community for which Liberia has not been able to benefit from their goodwill in the last 5 years. This is his fifth UNGA address. And what the president thought was most important to him was to try to dispute the credible facts that he had a restricted visa and could not go out of 25 miles from the UNGA? Is that the concern of a serious president? That he will not only go to his house in Queens, which is 19 miles, 20, within the 25 miles, but also ship his Ballon d'Or in a wooden box to that house so that he makes it seem like that's where it is, and to bring out the issue of him winning the Ballon d'Or. He won the Ballon d'Or in 1995. Great. We are in 2022. This is about him being president, not about winning Ballon d'Or. That was an attempt to evoke the emotions of the Liberian people to why they liked him in the first place because he won War Best or because he was a soccer star. He fell flat. And whoever advised him to do that, he should fire them because what they made him look like was somebody who was not serious about the purpose for which he went to the US. And other African presidents, other world leaders who went to the UNGA as well, they see that stuff. And do you know how they regard our president? That's childish. That's something that maybe Kalasi can do. I'm speaking.
Do not interrupt her, please. Kev, do not interrupt her, please. Don't do that.
Which one of your colleagues you ever saw go? Which one of the colleagues you ever saw go look for their certificate from their high school days to make video about it? That's an achievement from the past. We're in a person we're talking about what are these achievements he can make for Liberia. And let's talk about the whole Roxy thing. The fact that the president even thought it was important for him to record him playing with his dog. Roxy, I love you. I love you, Roxy. Roxy can't come to Liberia after 4 or 5 years because Liberia not good enough for his dog to live in.
What nonsense is this, man?
Not good enough for his dog to live in. But I didn't Liberia today. He said it's like Miami. But Miami, his puppy dog can live in Miami. The Liberians are living because he understands that the suffering Liberians going through, even his dog don't deserve to go through that suffering. How many times will not put their dogs on flights and brought them to this country? How many times have people not traveled out of the country with their pets? It is possible. People do it every single time. But this president refused to bring his beloved Roxy to this country that he claims is so good, doing so well. It's like Miami, but his puppy dog cannot live in this country. And lastly, let me point this out because we've not discussed it. That a president of a sovereign nation can travel to the United States, to another nation, and call that place home. I'm home. I'm at my home. Liberia, like a vacation spot? Is Liberia not your home? When the president arrived at RIA, did he say, I am home? He went to America to the hospital. He said, I am
Mariah,
home.
your 2 minutes is up, Mariah. We got to move on.
How does she take 5 minutes?
Mariah, your 2 minutes is up.
Wow.
Kev, only one moderator. We shouldn't do this tonight,
And
please.
this is why, Kev, you're not distract me. And this is why when we tell the president not serious about the country and he does not care about what's happening to this country, is because after 2023, he will pack up and go home.
Thank you, Mariah.
Thank you.
We got to move on. Thank you very much. Let me say something. Kev, Ben, you are muted, but hold on 1 minute, Ben. Let me say something.
I yield my time to Kev.
I agree. And I myself was about to yield my time to him. But he just interrupted Kev. Listen, you will be fine when they just finish up.
Yeah, they got finished.
We will give you time to respond, please. But let me say this. I will take only a few seconds to say something to Mariah. Mariah, Dr. Richardson, St. Timothy and George, Chairman Ben Sevi. Folks that are saying that the president of the Republic of Liberia, by going to his home, doing what he did, he was in error. I think you guys are misguided. And the politics you guys trying to play, it will not hold water. It is so unfortunate that being a president of a nation should separate you from being yourself. Just a joke. The very comments Anthony Yakula and Dr. Richardson elevating every day, celebrating every day. When he's out of his comfort zone, he found time to go and dance. He found time to go and celebrate. He called women around him and he's in the middle dancing. Comments that man. Comments that man. What's wrong with the president? After completing his mission at the UNGA to take some time off, you guys said he couldn't leave the hotel. What's wrong if he left the hotel? You guys said he couldn't go to do anything. I mean, it's a shame. Listen, I'm not again. I'm going to say this. We are Liberians for God's sake. He will not be able to talk to Liberians. He met them. He talked to them. He said the road condition was so bad prior to me taking over. But now, please look like Muhammad, because he was referring to the condition of the road. You take it. Listen, my only headache, right? My only problem. You will run after this story and you will miss the target. And you will take days and weeks to run on this thing on social media. And just what happened in Lofa will repeat itself. If the president within himself, he knows that you guys follow him every day, tomorrow he may come up with something again. Instead of you focusing on the bread and butter issue, you'll be dancing kakaleka and preaching a message that will not benefit the Liberian people. The president can play with his dogs. I got 2 dogs. The president can lift up his trophy and celebrate. So what? This ain't a human being. He went to UNGA, you criticize. He left UNGA, you criticize. He went to the hotel, he couldn't leave. He went home to his house, you criticize. I think this is petty. Now you talk about petty, this is petty politics. And I hope with the rest of my time, I want to yield to my brother Kev, because I am not in the same boat with you on this one. And I believe if you talk about politics, talk about the bread and butter issue. He did what he came to the UNGA for. He spoke and addressed the assembly. And he went on his own time to speak to Liberians. He went on his own time to visit his home. You want to tell me Mr. Collins will come to America in Atlanta and he won't visit his home? You want to tell me that Joseph Boakai, Ambassador Boakai, will come to this country? He will not go visit his brothers and sisters? Is that how low we have come as Liberian? I'm disappointed tonight. And I yield the rest of the time to Honorable Kev. Kev, please.
You know, CEO, sometime when you listen to the opposition, that you especially the ANC, you realize that when folks talk about Mr. Cummings and the rest of the ANC people don't know Liberia, every time they speak, Mr. Cummings cannot even travel to America with Liberian passport. I dare them. I dare the ANC to show any proof that Mr. Cummings used Liberian passport to come to America. He only used it to go to Ghana. Then he used a U.S. passport to come to America. I dare them, if they can produce any documentation that Mr. Cummings do have visa and use his Liberian passport to enter America, CEO, kick me out of spoon. I dare them. I dare them. If they can show that Mr. Cummings have a visa on Liberian passport to come America, kick me out. The man don't even recognize. The man say he from Maryland. He don't even have a home in Maryland. The man just 2017 he started to get property in Liberia to have a home. The man never even recognized, but they cannot. They don't have the heart, but they do have the audacity to talk about this president. The president do have a home in New York. The president, yes, do have a dog in New York, well taken care of. That the president you're saying you were broke. That the president you're saying have 4,000 being a packet. That the president you're running around, your son is home in New York. You pay your property tax. I'll see you, Ben Savvy and Dr. Francis. You all know that. This man do pay his home. By the way, the trophy live in New York. Now bringing that trophy. That trophy always
in a box, in a woody travel box.
Yes.
No, Moran, you will do this.
No,
You
right?
guys
Don't
will
interrupt
break out
him.
the chest.
You don't
Yes.
interrupt the man.
Don't
Yes.
interrupt him.
Don't interrupt him.
yes. Yes. The trophy live
Stop
in New
it,
York.
I have to laugh at that. Stop it.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this.
Oh, I love spoon talk.
Let me tell you this. You think the president going to ship his trophy to come? That trophy always in that bags. And I hope you ANC
Okay,
people.
well, why you get me doing the box?
But that's what it.
Don't
That's
interrupt the man.
Sorry,
Don't
sorry,
do that.
sorry. No,
Don't
no,
do
They're
that.
living there.
Ben.
I'm begging you about. Don't
No,
interrupt that.
Ben. It's a good question.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, I want to know. Yeah.
that's what you put it. Ben, I can challenge you right now.
The man time is up. Kev,
Yeah,
your time is up, brother.
Still with.
But your time is up, Kev.
No, I got bad time. I
Yeah,
got
he
bad
got my time. He got my time.
I
He got my
got
time.
Ben, be quiet
No,
about
I
this.
got bad time still. Ben, I know Ben. You do have a watch that watch is still in the seal place. You put a seal. Don't make me call your watch and your match.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't make me call it. But you still keep them. You still keep them in the original box and seal. You still keep them
That happens, yeah.
That is true. That is true. Keep
because that's how it is.
They gain their war in the box.
But to be
You
honest
can
with
buy
you,
the watches with the box. They gain their war in the box.
but because you have to put it in a safe place and seal. That's the way it is. So when you live in Europe, let me tell you this. That award was never given in America. It was in Europe.
Yeah.
It was
That's
in
true.
Europe.
That's true. Yeah.
When you're shipping up that award from Europe, you don't put it in your hand and travel in the
Then
plane.
1995, they ship it in the box.
No, he was not. Since 1995, he was
You know that feeling today. We gotta go.
No, he was living in Europe.
Yeah, wrap up.
1960, he was living in Europe. He was living in Europe. But see, let me run this up. Let Mariah and the ANC, since they're talking about the president not calling home, let us show Mr. Cummings do have a Liberian passport with visa in it to show that he can travel Liberian passport, that Liberia is home. Number two, let's go Maryland and show a home in Maryland where Mr. Cummings say he come from. If you show me home in Maryland, if you can show me home in Maryland, then you can talk. But until that, you have no moral ground to talk about the president who live his life in Liberia and always come back home. Always come back home. You represent your man that never came back home. Never came back home. And she talked about seal. She talked about 419 on Roxy. You know the 419? The 419, when folks passing around, like Mariah said, Mr. Cummings from a mother that
Yeah, we gotta go, brother.
Let me say this. CO, please, I beg you. The last one. But folks like Mariah pass around at Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings was Ma was selling Duca Flair. Mr. Cummings from Point Four. That's a 419. That's a lie. That's a lie. And we can challenge it on the show today that Mariah and the ANC are lying, that the woman was not selling Duca Flair, that this woman was top class, that, this woman, her husband paid his school fee in America. So if you want to challenge it.
All right, Kev, thank you very much. And let me be let me be serious, Kev. Kev, listen, let me be serious. Everybody, with the exception of the little poke we laugh on, we all patiently waited. You are done, and you have to give that same time to others. Guys, forgive me. Let me bring in Mariah to respond. Then we'll go to the next conversation. Mariah.
Thank you. First things first, Kev, you clearly don't know what Tocafle is. It's used clothes. Nobody got to go sit down in the market to sell Tocafle before you know they're selling Tocafle. And people who selling Tocafle today, yes, they're paying the children's school fees. So I don't understand, Kev, when you come out with it about Kumi's man never saw Tocafle like you were there, or you know, or the fact that she was not sitting down on the market table so that not Tocafle. Somebody tell you Tocafle that market table business.
So you said Duca Flair.
No, don't interrupt. Don't interrupt.
You saw a
Don't interrupt.
You're not being right.
But we need
Don't do it. No, Mariah,
hold on.
Mariah, hold on.
So decay.
Kev, listen. You need to stop. Seriously. I beg you, please. We want to enjoy the program. Don't do this. Mariah, please go ahead.
Thank you. So let me address that issue. You clearly don't know, Kev. The last time you came to La Pro that Stanton had to bring you, DK as Tocafle, DK Benin Boutique that is seen as Tocafle. They get plenty nine to call Tocafle.
I know. I said it.
So please, somebody selling used clothes that Tocafle. You can't on the show and say that Cummings money said Tocafle because you're lying. You can sit there and say that before when where they used to live is where Monoprix supermarket is today. He knows that you were there. I mean, sorry, man. That's why I keep telling you, come with the facts. It will help your propaganda more. But let's address some of the things you said. First, Stanton, you say you're disappointed in the opposition and being petty.
Please do.
And blah, blah, blah.
Me.
I'm actually disappointed that you even defend this thing. Because, come on now. I know you want to try to help Captain there. All can be on one side, and that's fine. But come on now, Stanton.
No. Now I will be like Kev. I will interrupt you. You can't do that. But Mariah, let me be serious. Let me ask you this question. So you bring this up.
But let me
do you think it's a good idea for you guys to go after the president, that he visited his home, he played with his dogs, and he played with a trophy? Do you think it's a good thing? Finish up.
Let me finish. I mean, the point of the matter is what the president makes a priority instead of you talk about bread and butter issues. The president is not making bread and butter issues a priority, even though we are talking about the bread and butter issues. But we'll also address the fact that these are things that desecrate, reduce, belittle these childish, petty things. These are the things that denigrate the presidency. This is not about Josh Weir. The presidency is a sacred office. It's the highest office in our land. And we cannot subject the presidency to these petty grimmages. We can't do it. So let's just forget the fact of who sits in the presidency. When you sit in that position, in that office, there's an expectation that comes with you holding that office. And this president has failed to meet that expectation. What it does is that it reduces the presidency. It makes other world leaders and governments look at us as unserious people. And that's not something we should support. So let's go back again to Kev. And I just wanted to make that point. At the end of the day, this conversation is not about Cummings. This conversation is about George Weir, who is the president, who went to represent. Oh, Jesus God. sorry, I got a call, who went to represent Liberia at the UNGA and decided to leave his message, which we've already discussed, and focus on trying to dispute the fact that he had a restricted visa. And in trying to dispute it, even prove to us that he indeed had a restricted visa, because even where he went was not out of the 25 miles. Then he decided to go and focus on his dog and his balloon dog. But I want to say a few things. You said Mr. Cummings was born in Maryland, but he doesn't have a home in Maryland. Granted, Joe Weah, who grew up in Osoni in Gibraltar, he got home in Gibraltar. Joe Weah, who from Nukutan, he got home in Nukutan. Just as Mr. Josh Weah has homes in Monrovia, it's just as Mr. Cummings has home in Monrovia. Just as Joe Weah got places in Monrovia that he built, that just as Mr. Cummings got places in Monrovia and Margibi that he's built. So to sit on the show and try to attack Cummings for something that who you say were there all his life, which we know is not, because he spent over 30 plus years of his life playing football out of the country, in and out. The same things you want to attack Cummings for? And you said something that resonated with me, Kev, and it goes back to the fact that the president called America his home. You continue the president's home, the president's home, the president's home. And for me, it is sad, because no president would ever call another sovereign country their home. And then you sit on the show and say George Weah is paying taxes, real estate taxes on his home in New York. Okay, he's paying real estate taxes on a home in New York. Is he paying real estate taxes on a homes in Liberia, Jamaica Resort, a 42 condos, a mansion on 9th Street, a house that on ERW Road? Is he paying taxes, real estate taxes on these homes? Can LRA show the president's real estate tax payment on these homes in Liberia, since now you've confirmed that he's paying taxes to the American government? Is he paying taxes to the Liberian government on these homes he has here?
All right. Thank you.
Where, let me just close. This is where we have to be serious about this country. If you have a president of a sovereign country of Liberia who calls the United States his home, who's paying taxes to the U.S. government. Look, of course, other people will have homes in the U.S. and they'll have to pay taxes.
But let me interrupt you, please.
Oh,
please.
Has never been a time
I will interrupt you. Let me ask you a question, Mariah. And let me ask you.
Another country in your home.
Okay, Mariah, we
And
hear
then you
that
put
now.
your dog in your home. And that's why Roxy picked up to Liberia, because Roxy is home.
Mariah, let me ask you a question. Let me just don't even ask Mariah. Gentleman George, under what context the president was speaking? Did he say America is my home?
He said, I'm home.
Listen, Mariah. He said, I'm home.
Mm-hmm.
And where was he when he made that comment?
Yeah, America.
You were on the street?
Does it matter?
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
yes, it does, Mariah. Yes, it does. No. He didn't say America is my home. Mariah,
No.
you are
now
well educated, Anthony Adlo.
Now
He said,
I'm
now
a citizen
I'm
of the world.
And he said, I'm a citizen of the world. The world include what? Liberia. Listen, that's my problem, Chairman.
Citizen of Liberia, not the world.
Nah, guys, let me
Chairman, I beg you, let me finish with this so you can come in.
How can he say he's a citizen when Liberia say you can't be president unless you're a citizen of Liberia?
Hey, Mariah, you and Dr. Richardson will come in. Let's give Ben and Tommy George the chance to speak. What I'm hearing from this opposition is so petty. I'm in my home. I'm at home. I'm here at home. When I'm in Delaware, I'm home. When I'm in Florida, I'm home. If you get a home, a house that we say in Liberia that you bought, that you can go and stay in, and you know you pay your bills, you will stay there. That's your home. Mariah, the president didn't say that to Richardson, America is my home. The president said, I'm home. He was talking about the building, the structure. Come on, guys. Spin on something else.
He's the president.
Chairman Ben, come, man. I'm begging you. Don't do that.
Even when Barack Obama went to Kenya,
nah,
he cannot say his home.
Mariah, I think you guys are in error on this one. You guys are mistaken on this one.
Let me say this, Mariah and Dr. Richardson. I think I don't think it's a solid argument to make, and let me tell you why. One, first of all, let's address the issue of citizen of the world, right? Just from the context of who he is, he was a celebrity or is a celebrity, this soccer star. I think it's something that he said. Now, on the issue of his home, look, Mr. Cummings has a home here. Who else running for president in Liberia got a home here, right? Yombi Kanga Lawrence got a home here. All these people have homes in this country.
They have houses.
So, what, hey man, Mariah, man, they not worried.
They have houses. It is important you know that they have houses. They don't call it. They don't call it homes. Your home.
They choose not to call it home, Mariah, but it's a home.
Yeah,
Mariah. It's a home for them.
The addresses of
For the
those.
president, it makes a difference who says what I have a home or not.
No, it doesn't.
The
No, it doesn't.
president of Liberia.
No,
It
it
is
doesn't.
The addresses of those properties.
The number
Dr.
one
Richardson,
citizen of
let me ask you a
Liberia.
question.
Who's a citizen of Liberia?
I see why we're nothing to talk
Hold on
about.
1 minute, guys. Hold on 1 minute. Let Chairman speak. We'll
Yeah,
come to that.
I need to ask Dr. Richardson a question. Dr. Richardson.
No, don't come in yet, Chairman.
No, I
Finish
know,
up.
quickly. But does it make Dr. Richardson less of a Liberian because she has a home in Pennsylvania?
In New
Or
Jersey.
New Jersey? Sorry,
And she got 3 in Pennsylvania.
It doesn't. I
The
don't think it
president?
does. Huh?
The
I'll
president.
answer that. Let you finish.
What I'm saying, except you saying that by the time the person becomes president, the person must sell all their property. Is that what you're trying to imply?
No, Ben. It's not about the
No,
properties
it's
that
Dr.
you
Richardson.
own. It's where you
Mariah.
call home.
Mariah, it's Dr.
Home
Richardson.
is where the
Mariah.
heart is.
Mariah,
Home
it's
is
Dr.
where it's
President
where.
of Liberia.
Mariah is Dr. Richardson. You will not.
Oh, that's it.
He is the number one citizen of Liberia and needs to
So let me
represent
ask you a question, Dr.
Liberia.
Richardson. If
So
Mr.
I'm not the president of Liberia, so
Okay,
I
Dr. Richardson.
refuse to
Dr. Richardson.
the way-
If Mr. Cummings
Become president tomorrow.
get elected president of
Should he
Liberia,
sell
should he
his home
sell
in
his
America?
property in
It's
Atlanta?
not about selling. You guys getting this argument
No,
wrong.
but that's a question. It's a
It's not
legitimate
about selling your
question.
property. It's the way that you represent Liberia as the president of
Man,
Liberia.
let move on, man. Let move on.
Yeah, man, this is real, man.
We
Yeah,
come to
man.
America and say I move, I will be saying the exact same thing on
Oh,
this
please,
show.
Dr. Richardson,
You're
stop.
president.
No,
Come
come
back
on.
to America and say, I'm
Guys.
citizen of the world. I'll be saying the exact same
So
thing.
let me ask you a question. If Mr. Cummings, when Mr. Cummings come to
Liberia,
America, when Mr. Cummings come to America, right? And you call him or he calls you, and you say, Mr. Cummings, where are you? And he said, I'm home in Atlanta. Does it mean that he's less of a Liberian?
Does it
Doesn't
say
mean
he's
that
home
he
in
doesn't.
Atlanta? Does it say he's home in
I'm not-
Atlanta?
But he has a home in Atlanta though.
We have a house in Atlanta.
Listen, you know what?
I think we're getting apple and oranges all mixed up here
you
together.
as the president, if you go to a foreign country and say, after 4 years, I'm home. Come on.
See,
Come on.
see,
You can spin
I
this.
see that with your girls, them, man. They really let you down. Your girls are letting you down, man.
President.
Even
He's
my
the
boy
president.
told
But
me,
you know, and
my boy
let me
told
say
me,
that he even said it today, though. He even said it today. When they asked him the question about the restriction, he even said it again today at the airport. He said, I went home when I left.
But let me, Chairman, let me say this. Okay?
When he
We
arrived
gotta
at the
move on,
airport,
guys.
Come and sit down with y'all,
Guys,
man.
hold on a minute. We gotta go to St. Thomas and George, and we gotta move on.
I just think this is a
I think you guys,
slippery
I
argument.
think you guys, this
You
is
know.
not even a slippery argument. This argument cannot even make you to swallow fufu.
It's a
Now,
solid
Listen,
I tell
argument.
you, not even
This argument cannot even make you to swallow fufu.
Nah, I
This
don't
is just
think
plain. This is
It's
just
a solid-
plain
it's not
and
Spain.
cheap. This is just
It's
cheap
a solid
politics, and they are
argument.
not winning the politics. Because I will say this to you: when you open your front door, you enter your home here. You say, "Thank God, I'm home."
You're not
You say,
president,
"Thank God,
Stanton.
I'm home." It doesn't matter
It does.
because
It
you know
does.
why? Listen, let me say this, and this thing gonna
so. Can
kiss
we
you guys
commit here
tomorrow.
that if Mr. Cummings get elected, he must sell all his
Mr.
property?
Cummings,
in
y'all
America?
say thank you.
But that's
Yes,
not
man.
what
No, I'm
it
asking that
is.
question because
It's not.
the reason I'm asking that
It's
question
not
is
about selling
Mr.
property.
Cummings,
It is about representing.
if President Cummings
It's not
comes
about
to
selling
America,
I will tell the president of the Republic of Liberia,
Not,
Chairman
nobody
Ben,
asking we have to sell
Chairman
his
Ben,
properties.
let me say this. I will tell the president of the Republic of Liberia to say 1 billion times when he in America. When he visited home in Florida, he said, "Thank God I'm home." When he visited his home in New York, he said, "Thank God I'm home."
You're being
This is
misleading him,
hypocritical
Stanton.
because Mr. Cummings will come to
You're being
Atlanta,
misleading
and
him.
if God bless
You're not
Mr.
saying
Cummings When God bless Mr. Cummings, he become president, he will say, thank God, I'm home. I'm
No,
back
he would
home.
not.
This,
I've
Mariah,
been with
Mariah,
Mr.
stop.
Cummings on
Okay,
Mariah,
trip to
stop.
Alaska.
let me ask Mariah a question.
This is wrong.
Mariah, I want you to tell me, how will Mr. Cummings consider the property in Atlanta when he's president? What will he consider it as?
Even now, it's not his home. He doesn't consider it as his home. His home is in Monrovia.
What does he consider?
The issues around.
What does he consider it as?
The issues around the president of a sovereign nation going to a house or home that he owned in another country and calling it home is symbolic. It is symbolic. And this is what you guys are missing. And you're trying to spin this. This is not political. This is symbolic of how the president. It's symbolic of how the president reversed the U.S. versus Liberia. It's symbolic of where his heart is. We say home is where the heart is. It's symbolic of the fact that he
and I hope Mr. Cummings, and I hope Mr. Cummings
I ask you, Jenna, how does Mr. Cummings
paying taxes on the houses
in Liberia?
So let me say this. How does Mr. Cummings define?
We gotta move on to 2 minutes.
Yeah, but you know, on this issue,
My last question. How does Mr. Cummings define our property in Atlanta?
His residence. He has a residence.
It's a residence? It looks like a residence, baby. You try to no, that residence.
Stop that thing. Stop that draft.
I can't believe you said Atlanta. I can't believe you said
Atlanta. He has several people got several residences.
Dr. Richardson, stop that thing, please.
Here's my take, right? For me, the president owned a home in Queens, New York. He owned it in Florida, and in fact, about the golden ball. That golden ball, I know I was one Florida. We took picture away in the house. Always up. Kevin, when I'm in the box, always up in the house. Always up in the house. We took picture away when one Florida.
What's funny? And he took it to New York.
Yeah, but he
But that's not what I said. Thank you being the boss.
No.
You're talking about 2004.
He's somewhere in New York now. He's somewhere to go to New York now.
Guys, hold on 1 minute. 2 minutes, George.
Yeah.
You seen the president ship the thing?
The president.
No.
The president sent that thing to New York.
No.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that balance, that golden ball, they're always been in Florida at his home where people took pictures and so forth.
Tony,
I come in. Kev, I've seen that ball. I touched it. You didn't touch it yet.
Yeah, that's 2004, right?
I touched that ball. Yeah, I mean that talk. I touched that ball before.
So are you saying the president? Are you saying the president called for aid a few days from Florida? Are you saying the president called for aid a few days from Florida?
No, but apparently.
I'm asking you. Are you saying that?
Hold on now. Let him answer you. Hold on.
Wait, I know that the last time I saw him was in Florida, in his house.
What year was it?
When?
Yeah, hold on.
Well, 2004, 2005, and so forth. Yeah,
hold on.
2000. Even when he,
2004.
18 years ago.
even when he graduated, when there for
we gave you up to
I'm talking about 18 years ago, Tony.
Hold on.
Yeah, but apparently the recent things from Florida to New York.
We gave you up to 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, the still. It can even be last week.
Yeah,
But
but
now it's in New York. So what?
it's not a big deal. But I don't want to make no big deal for number one.
You brought it up for the same. Why you say
the ball? You talking about the golden ball? The golden ball always in Florida. Let me talk, guys. Says that perhaps President is trying to move some of his stuff from Florida to New York. So if he moves stuff, it will be in back. It will be in back. So that will happen. But on the issue of the husband, right? On the husband, right? I don't thought the president. I mean, if I own a home, if I'm president or official of government, whatever the case, own a home in America, when I come, I want to see my home. I want to visit it. I would like to visit. I would like to visit my residence to see it. Okay, but I just thought by doing it, you are responding to the critics, which I thought he should not have given credence to that. He should have just gone to his home quietly and see his dog and stuff and forget about what people. I come in, Kev. I mean, end now. Okay, but instead of saying the poster I can't know that. No, he should just go on quietly, go to his home, visit home, and see a family and whatever the kids. And lastly, you shouldn't talk about opening talking about passport and visa because that's when you talk the post over. Let's see.
We'll see what
so we want to go that far. We shouldn't talk about what a person traveling. People travel with just one document. Some people are U.S. citizens travel with Liberian passport. You know that, right? So that will not go all through that thing, guys.
Yeah, but let me say this. Let
move on, man.
Yeah, we are about to move on. You hold on 1 minute, please.
Yeah, what passport
guys, and I don't want anybody. Guys, Mariah, I don't want anybody to interrupt, please. We get Kev. Everybody look at the phone. We get Kev 1 minute. I'm begging you guys, just 1 minute. Then from there we gotta move to the other conversation. Kefiko.
Tommy, let me say this to you. I'm not. Well, let me just say I don't even want to go into that details.
Very much for being with us today.
Great to be here.
Okay, that trophy were in New York. When I spoke with the president, he said when I going home, he said to me, "Oh, I will touch my trophy." So he said it to me.
Oh, the president told you that?
Yes, he said it.
Okay.
He said it to me. So when I spoke to the president said, "Oh, I'm going."
I can tell you this. That ball was. Hey, don't make me become a liar. I beg you.
Stand on today.
I gotta ask.
Let me finish.
Let me tell you when you're going to kitchen to eat.
Let me
go to my house. Going to
let me
kitchen.
finish.
The same thing Mr. Combs can do to you, Mr.
Listen. I think I'm blessed enough to talk to our president. It is a blessing.
Yes,
I appreciate that.
You're right.
But let me say this, Mariah. You talk about DK. You know, some of us we had DK. We will DK in Liberia. We know that Doka Flair. But the school fee in America is thousands of dollars. Nowhere that you can set DK and pay school fee.
Oh, I disagree.
See
but
you.
let me finish. But guys, you don't do this thing when I finish. Let Kev make a point.
All right, when you finish, I need to respond to Kev.
Yeah, let him make a point.
So if you know what to portray Mr. Comey as, he comes from a poor home. He struggled. Even if you listen to Louis Brown, he said he came from a poor home. He made it in life. That's a man who live in Point Full, selling DK to Kafle. That's what it made it. But let's listen to Mr. Comey's word. Can you play that scene?
Very much for being with us today.
Great to be here.
I'd like to go back a little bit in history. And can you tell us what it was like to grow up in Liberia? What that experience was for you?
Yeah, it was actually quite exciting. At the time when I grew up, in relative terms, Liberia was doing well in the context of Africa. And I was fortunate to grow up in a middle-class family. So I had wonderful elementary education, high school education, lots of friends, very large extended family. So it was wonderful. I was blessed and fortunate to have grown up in Liberia when I did.
How and when did you decide to leave and do something different?
After high school, decided to go to the United States for college education. At the time, University of Liberia was actually quite a good school, but my parents could afford it and thought the experience and exposure of living and going to school in a different country would be good for me. And so I applied and got accepted, and I went to the U.S. to study finance and economics.
At that time, did you have a sense or believe that you might return someday and try to do good works in Africa and help the
Absolutely.
What was your thought behind that?
Yeah, the intent was always to go home and work. Growing up.
Okay.
So
no. Let Kev finish.
Go home.
No, guys, please. You're with now. Let Kev finish. He called for the video.
Okay.
Kev, please.
So this is not about then going home. We're talking about work. That's not what the video is about. The video is about the narrative that they're pushing around that this man is an average Joe He from Point Four, mass selling Docafleur. We all know what I mean with from average from a poor home mass selling Docafleur. Actually, no. This man doesn't know the normal life of a poor Liberian. He said it. He from a middle class, and his parents could afford it to pay his school fee. Everybody here do have they do have student loan. We know how much, tens of thousands. Some people pay. We talk about a man who have a higher education, so that mean he doesn't have a student loan. So we're talking about over 100,000. Even Congress people today have loan. Congress people have loan. When Biden tried to forgive the loan, we saw names of Congress people. Mr. Cummings, according to this tape, he doesn't have a loan. Parents pay his money. That's not a bad thing. Let me say it. That's not a bad thing. But when the folks from the ANC, like Louis Brown, Mariah, them portraying, because when we talk about George Weah from a humble background, the grassroots can make his way, they want to align that with Mr. Cummings. No, Mr. Cummings' parents could afford to pay his school fee in America.
You. Thank you. Can I come in?
Yeah, Chairman, go ahead. Chairman.
So Kev, first of all, let me state for the record, I disagree with you, like seriously. Poverty is not a price. We should never.
That's not what.
Never. Please let me finish.
No. Kev.
I never.
Kev, you have your time.
Let me finish, please.
Kev, let him finish. You have your time, Kev. Please.
I need to answer where he going.
No, Kev, let him finish. You have your time, please. Chairman, go ahead.
Poverty is not a price. We should never celebrate poverty. Poverty is something that if any human being walking on the face of this earth could get out of, they will run away from. People are poor because either they don't have opportunities to climb the ladder out of poverty, or because that is the environment in which they find themselves and they don't have any way out. Middle class is also subjective. There are many middle class people in Liberia who are market women. Market women, do you know the amount of money market women make in Liberia? In fact, they are probably the most stable when it comes to income in our country. So there's no. Interrupt me. Do not interrupt me, because there is a tendency, there is a dangerous narrative that goes around and makes it clear. Like, if you were born in a middle class family, then it means something is wrong. No. In fact, we will want our country to be a middle income country. That is what we should aspire for.
Chairman, let me ask you.
Yeah, but wait, let me finish, please. President George Weah happened to have been born in the slums. But let's also be cognizant of the fact that President George Weah used his God-given talent to get out of poverty. And he has not known poverty since he got on that plane and left Liberia. He hasn't. He only knew poverty when he was young. And because, and I'm sure, very, very sure, that if George Manuel Weah had the opportunity to have been born in the U.S., he will want to be born in the U.S. So I want you to say, I want to say this to you. I do not believe anybody, I know market women who will say clearly that, look, if they had an opportunity to send their children to Harvard, they will send their kids to Harvard. It's not because that they're selling market, it means that they are dirt poor or they don't have access to anything and stuff like that. So I just thought that I'd make that very clear.
Chairman, let me say something to you, and then the rest of the guys can speak. I have a couple of questions for you. Then Mariah will come on, Dr. Richie C. and Senator Money George. One, was George Manuel Weah born into poverty? What do you know about George Manuel Weah? Do you think he was born into poverty?
Oh, yes, I do. Yeah. At least from what we know, from what has been told. Yeah.
Was Alexander Cummings born into poverty?
From what I hear from Mr. Cummings, I don't think he was born into poverty.
Thank you. The reason why I asked the question and how you answer the question, I don't think Kev Hassan is saying it's a good thing to be born into poverty.
Thank you, sir.
The explanation
Thank you.
that go out there that Mr. Cummings was born in the slum. Mr. Cummings.
Nobody has said that. Nobody has ever said Mr. Cummings was born in the slum.
No, you will not interrupt.
Go ahead.
No, everybody will have the piece of this part tonight. You gotta take our time. The argument folks are making when they say Mr. Cummings, and God bless Mr. Cummings, man, because you know what? My man too said Duka Flair 8.4. I know how it is. And God bless Mr. Cummings' dad because he was so reverent. God bless his soul. God bless his parents because they fought and did everything for him to have a successful life, he and his family. But my question to you, and you answer rightly, George Manawia was born in total poverty, in the slum. Unlike of George Manawia, who have never seen a day of life. Someone like George Manawia was supposed to stay be pushing.
You asking a question or you making a statement?
I'm making my own statement, I'm right.
Nobody on the matter to talk. You're supposed to
ask Mariah, you scared of my talking?
No. I just saying I'm a time to talk.
But let us also establish the fact that these two men,
will come to you, Mariah. Then we'll go to that Richardson. So, excuse me, Chairman.
Let's also establish the fact that these two men had no control of what situation
we know that.
Into.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about making Mr.
Chairman, let me tell you something. Only God.
Exactly.
Only God. It's not you, it's not me, it's not our parents.
Agree.
It's only God. But I will say this to you though. Looking at the man like George Manor we are today, and looking at the person, the man, Mr. Cummings today, it's two different paths.
Of course.
It's two different paths. So when somebody say, Joe, we are born in the slum, Joe, we are going to get kiss me, Joe, we are going to eat dukkha, then somebody will come and say, Mr. Cummings did the same thing. Kev argument is no.
Can I ask a quick question?
No, but
that's what enhance your conversation. Who, and I'm waiting to hear that person because I will rebuke them. Who has ever made the argument that Cummings?
But Chairman, let me finish.
Who has ever made the argument?
Louis Ram made it.
No, you said humble beginnings. You said humble beginnings, Kev. Your issue of comprehension.
Kev, don't mess it to you. Let's take our own time. Chairman, everybody on the show, you're the only person that said chairman for the biggest, one of the biggest party in Liberia. You're the politician on the show. Mariah tried to be, but she ain't there yet.
No,
but I will say this to you.
I ran for the Senate. Yeah.
Exactly. But let me say this to you, though.
That would determine if I'm there or not. Are you?
Bye, beg you, Mariah. Oh, when I call your name on the show, because we gotta go. Yeah, when I call you and Kev's name. But let me say this to you, Chairman. Yeah. It's important for us to understand, right? President George Manawia was born in the slum. If you were to put President George Manawia on Clarendon Junction and put Mr. Cummings on Clarendon Junction, Carl will kind of pick Mr. Cummings up and leave President George Manawia back during those days.
Not necessarily.
Because you know why? Let me make my point now. Let me make my point.
Make the point.
And this is very important.
Yes.
Put George Manawia, Gibraltar Junction, and put Mr. Cummings, Point 4 Junction. A Mercedes-Benz will pick Mr. Cummings up and they will leave George Manawia to that junction.
I think that's a cheap shot. I think that's cheap.
No, listen. I will leave this show tonight. I will leave this show. If y'all put President George Manawia during those days, when he used to go to school with paper in his pocket and sand in his shoe, when he used to walk from Gibraltar I beg you, my brother. Let's take it easy now.
I'm coming for the demonstration. What are elite school?
Yeah, can I finish?
Exactly. But Spencer will not make it show up because he knows what I'm you.
All right, 30 seconds, Stan. Don't finish.
30 seconds.
Because you just talking. And Kevin won't interrupt you because you're going to Finland.
All of y'all not turned to against Kevin myself. We shouldn't speak.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And I was saying because like brown people during those days, let me ask you, which school Mr. Cummings graduated from?
CWA. CWA.
College of West Africa.
So did Joe Boyka.
No, let me finish.
We're not talking about Joe Boyka yet, man.
Man, you know where I'm going.
What is wrong with somebody going to
interrupting me? Which school Mr. Cummings graduated
So you're
from?
insinuating that graduate and CWA means you wish?
Hey God, I beg you, Mariah. If you're taking me 30 more seconds, I will be done with you. I'm begging you. Which school President Weah graduated from? St. Thomas George. Which school?
We are, I think somewhere in the USA. In the US.
He graduated from school in the US.
In the US.
Wait. In Liberia, you see how it's hard to answer that question?
He didn't graduate in Liberia.
You didn't graduate in Liberia,
I'm talking to my Liberian people now, my fellow Liberian.
Yeah, he graduated in the US.
But we didn't graduate in Liberia. He graduated high school in the US.
You know, you're making my point tonight.
Okay.
You see how they're very, very difficult for you to tell me which school Joe graduated from?
He didn't graduate in Liberia.
But you're not giving me a chance. I'm done. I'm out of this show tonight.
All right, yeah, thank you.
But you know something, look.
I'm making my point. You're not giving me a chance. I'm begging up. Please.
Forget about the president. The president high school.
Forget it.
He graduated from high school in America.
Don't forget about the president high school.
I will not forget it. We'll not forget it. The reason why you cannot tell us which school Joe graduated from for Liberia is because he was so damn poor. He couldn't afford.
That's not true. That is not true.
No, we went to play.
That is not true.
Yeah, let me take care. Stand up. President, we are kind of scholarship to go where Heston. Scholarship.
What are you talking about?
Josh.
Yeah.
Let me toss you.
Yeah.
I had a same scholarship to go where Heston. My dad, as he was. Listen to me, Judge. Let me tell you a real life story.
Your power, Judge.
Listen to me. Chairman, let me tell you something. You don't know my life, Chairman.
Stand up. That's why I'm asking you. Stand up. You stood up.
You were privileged. I was a judge.
You are privileged. Your power, Judge.
No, let me help you, Chairman.
Your power, Judge again.
Let me help you. Hold on, I will help you. During the 1992 autopause,
my
father got blind.
Okay.
Things turned for the worse. When the war took everything, my little sister that is here in New Jersey today and myself, we never had the chance to go to CWA like Mr. Cummings. We never had a chance to even go to St. Mary's. My father had to take him by the hand. I led him by the hand to see Mr. Bowman. And he begged Mr. Bowman, my son Isaac came to the school. Jeremiah came to the school. Cecilia came to the school. My sister Cecilia and Joel were in the same class. You don't know the life he went through in Westchester. He begged Mr. Bowman and said, Mr. Bowman, can you please help my son? Mr. Bowman said, Mr. Witherspoon, I don't have anything in the morning, but I get one space in the evening. I will give it to your son. Tears came running down my eyes. When I took my father home, knowing where we came from, my father encouraged me. He said, go, and it shall be well. You know what? Let me tell you something. It wasn't Mr. Cummings. It wasn't a CWA. When we went to John Russell to CWA, we know who John Russell is, the principal there at CWA. Guys, you don't let us tell the story. If you were to put George Minor, we are on the junction of Gibraltar and put Mr. Cummings, point for Joshua, a mercenary will be picking Mr. Cummings. Let me put it back.
But you've been talking for hour now.
Yeah, but let me say something.
The issue here is
the coming point, and you know I want to make it. You don't want to give me chance.
No, but
trying to peddle. The thing that Kev is trying to peddle here is trying to peddle here is that because Cummings went to CWA and George Weah went to Well Heston, something in his mind, if George Weah is more qualified to run for president and come in?
No, we are not saying about qualification.
No, I said qualification. I'm talking about qualification as politics.
After Mariah, can I come in on that?
Let me say something. We'll be going to Mariah, but I will tell the nation tonight, Chairman Ben Samuel, too many John know exactly where I'm going, and they're trying to censor me. They're trying to make me be quiet.
You go ahead.
No, I'll be quiet. You know what? Maybe that Mariah sending you the text.
When does poverty becomes a badge of honor? Poverty does not be a badge of honor.
We are not saying that. But again, I will tell you, and I will tell all Liberians, if you want to put George Manuel Weah at the junction of Gibraltar, and you put Mr. Cummings at the junction of Point 4, then at the time, a Mercedes-Benz were going to pick Mr. Cummings out and lead George Manuel Weah.
You don't know that.
That's your case.
It's subjective because the person who riding the Mercedes-Benz can say, "Damn, a George Weah and who play for RE."
No.
The person can say that George Weah and who play for RE. But you don't get in the car.
You know what?
This is President George Weah who used to rock a Concorde.
Do not interrupt me. Give me 5 seconds. You hear what I'm trying to say. You know what you're interrupting me for.
Please, whatever.
Yeah, your brother don't want to bring you on. Come on. They say you must come on.
Go ahead, Mariah.
I feel like you
please, after Mariah, let me come on.
After Mariah, I don't want to stand.
After Ben spoke, Kev, I'm still speaking because you didn't want me to come back and address some of the things that they're saying so that people can forget it.
No, fine. I will just switch.
But we'll not forget. So I took some notes. Be quiet for now while I respond. First things first. Kev shows a video that even validated what we said. Mr. Cummings, Mr. Lewis, or we've said Mr. Cummings came from humble beginnings. Yeah, you go. I ready not to address it. Yeah, I ready to address it. Humble beginnings. You want to sit on this show? Mr. Cummings made it clear that his parents could afford, so he went to school in the U.S. You want to sit on the show and say that Mr. Cummings didn't come from humble beginnings and his mom didn't sell Tocafle. Like Ben said, do you know how much people make from selling Tocafle? I have a sister-in-law who had to do a surgery in India. She sells Tocafle. She did and paid for her surgery thousands of dollars. Do you know how much people make from selling clothes? The things that make money in this country, clothes, food. Do you know how much people make from selling Tocafle? And you want to sit on the show and say, because somebody sold Tocafle. So first of all, I sent it to Stanton and he will not put it up. How much was the school fees? How much was a college education in the 70s in America? Clark Atlanta University, where Mr. Cummings attended, it was less than 4,000 United States dollars. Tuition at Clark Atlanta University, where Mr. Cummings attended in the 70s, was less than 4,000 or 5,000 United States dollars. And you want to sit on the show and talk about people got thousands of debts in student loans. He went to school in the 70s when education in college education in the U.S. was cheap. And so if his mom, his parents decided that they would send him to the U.S. to improve his life,
which any parent should want to do,
which any parent will do, you want to say that that disqualifies him or that is contrary to the story that he started from humble beginnings? Do you know what humble beginnings means? I understand you got comprehension issues with certain things, but when it comes to the issue of humble beginnings, you cannot dispute someone's humble beginnings because you want to prove a political point. Kev, let me address something else you said. You want to see that before you want to see that he went to demonstration. Demonstration is a government school. Was it a good school at the time? Yes, it was, but it was not a private school. So if he left demonstration and want to see CWA, going to CWA does not mean your family rich, nor is going to Western means your family poor. This concept, this notion that what qualifies someone to be president is to
from Ben and
no interruption.
No interruption. But when I was speaking, they were all under my case.
No, qualifies someone to be president is skewed and is dangerous. And I will explain to you that even though Mr. Cummings could say that his parents was middle class, the middle class in Liberia is still poor. I can say that my family was middle class, but I didn't even realize I was growing up poor.
Senior?
I lived in lockdown for almost 10 years with my mom. But do you know what school I went to? I went to Maserati International School.
Oh, Mariah, you went to Maserati?
Yes. Did that make my mom rich? I would tell you these stories because sometimes we don't explain our stories. My mom worked for Ministry of Health.
You guys
It was
said it
assigned
was
with
seconds,
MSF.
Mariah.
I would say it in 10 seconds.
Okay,
My
Mariah.
mom never wore. No, Ben. My mom never wore. I never saw my mom wear gold chain or gold set. My mom didn't build a house. My mom invested every penny she made. Sometimes she used to tell me, her friends would say, what are you trying to prove sending your daughter to the rich people's school? My mom would walk from me from Lockington down Lataya to Maserati School, almost near St. Paul Bridge. We walked, taking the shortcuts. But she knew that she was investing in my education so that I can go further than she did.
Yeah.
So today, people who went to Maserati with me should say Mariah was rich, or she went out from a humble beginning, or she went out from a middle class. We were poor and didn't even realize we were poor. So if Mr. Cummings said that his parents were middle class, it's because as compared to people who could not even afford 2 or 3 meals, if someone can afford 2 meals, they'll say we're middle class over somebody who can only afford 1 meal. We in Lockington felt we even had a better life than some of the people who are living in Lockington in Bandy Town. It's all about perspective. And you want to sit on the show and dispute the fact that Mr. Cummings had a humble beginning.
Thank you.
That his family lived on food. His mom sold
Thank you very much, Mariah.
Well said, Mariah. Well said.
Thank you, Now, hold on. Let's go to Dr. Richard saying, I will bring you guys.
I didn't really want to mess around with Mariah.
I will bring you guys in.
I did. I got my foundation from Maserati.
Okay, now, you call Mariah, talk about
Maserati. You know, I didn't even know we had a
let me just add that,
add to the music.
Kev, bravo to you. You are trying to switch this conversation from George Weah to Mr. Cummings as usual, but it's not going to work. Okay, you want to switch this narrative to present George Weah as a poor person who can relate to Liberians, and we know that that's not true. Since he got the man graduated from school in the United States. What poor person do we know does that? Okay, why he's here accruing money, having homes here, flying private jet from one country to the other. People in Liberia can't even afford a meal sometimes a day. So this man is not poor as you like for us to think. He has money. He has several homes. Okay, but I see what you're trying to do. Switch the conversation again from George Weah, who came to the United States, should be representing Liberia as the #1 citizen. But saying,
did he come to the United States on scholarship? Did he come to the United States to go to university and go to school?
How did he come to the United States?
I'm asking you. Tumani, no. Dr. Richardson must explain.
After all my time, right?
No, Tumani, no.
After all my time, right?
Yeah, we'll come to you.
I don't know him personally like that, but I know somebody knows him. But I don't know him personally like that. I heard he came here on scholarship.
You heard that Joe Weah came to America on scholarship?
Yes, to graduate from high school.
You said Joe Weah or you said Mr. Cummings? No, I beg you guys. I beg you.
Because Weah came here.
Joe Weah came here. Only Liberian people will decide on that one. Joe Weah never came here on scholarship, sister.
No,
it's not your time. Chairman, they won't finish.
How did he come here? Tell us how he came here.
So are you done
living here?
Are you done, Dr. Richardson?
No, I'm asking my question.
No, I'm going to answer you. I just want to give you the respect. If you finish, I can answer.
Yeah, I was asking Tumali, how did he come here?
Tumali will come on later when you finish.
Okay.
Because, and we understand, Dr. Richardson, thank God for you. You are not from a poor family. You never came from a poor family.
Listen.
But you don't understand how Joe Weah came to America. We understand that. And we're going to leave it like that. Because most people that live in Liberia today.
I'm not going to describe. I'm not in the business of describing my life history in public. That's not my training. I don't do that. Okay, but you guys can better tell me how George Weah came to the United States because he must have had a family member here.
No, but
Georgie, you're coming. Georgie, Mariah, don't talk, please. Everybody gotta be quiet. Let Dr. Richardson finish. Dr. Richardson, you done, Mama?
Yeah, yes, I'm done. Tell me how he came here.
So let me say this to
That's in the
everybody.
story because I don't follow him like that.
Okay. There's a new thing in town, right? We're going to go to St. Honorable Kev Hassan, then St. Tumani George will come.
My man, I can't bring the story. That can't close the issue up. That can't take us on the issue.
Kev my closer, right?
You take our hand. You take our on the issue. Yeah. Okay.
No.
Let me say this, right? Okay. To be honest with you, President Weah was born in a poverty.
Not like he was born in a slum. Say,
yeah, you were born in a poor environment, right? But here's the thing now. Here's the thing now. When I talk about President Weah, I will be honest with you guys. When President Weah was in the 12th grade, okay, and he had a scholar, he had the contract with Tonnerre in Cameroon. He had a choice. Either you finish high school or you go for that contract. Okay. So he said no. His grandmother advised him.
Which country?
You're in Liberia now.
Which country with a contract? I want to have that.
In Cameroon.
Thank you.
So he had a choice. He said, well, my grandmother is struggling. Should I go finish high school or should I take the contract? He made a choice to forego high school to go for that contract. Okay? And how he left to go to Cameroon, and from there you know his history. Okay.
Thank you.
Now, coming to the issue. George Weah, he left Liberia at the age of 21. Okay. And before he left Liberia, he was on scholarship at Muslim Congress and Warehurstone, soccer scholarship. He played for IE. And now, but from the age of 17 years and so forth, George Weah will not see Paul Dynamo because why? He played for big team at IE, Lone Star, we know very well. So he played for a big team now.
But you're waiting now, that's when it finished.
Yeah, so he left the country at the age of 21 to go professional, right? And from there, everything just went positive for him, and he became the world best.
So I beg you now. He wasn't poor anymore. At the age of 17, he was
that's
getting
not
more.
what Tumani is saying.
I mean, once George Weah, he got a soccer scholarship to go Muslim Congress and then to Warehurstone, and then he's up for IE.
Let me ask you a question.
You're a big star for IE.
George.
Yeah.
Be fair with our sisters on the show tonight. Our sister on the show tonight, they really don't know the history of President George Manneh.
Who the sisters?
No, Anthony Moriah, Yakula, and Dr. Richardson.
No, I beg
you guys are our sister on the show tonight.
I mean, who the sister who you know George Weah history?
But let me finish now. Okay, you know what? Let me say something. And I Dr. Richardson, Anthony Moriah, our sister on Radio Land. Let me come back to you, St. Tumani George. It is important. Even at the age of 17, you cannot tell me that the President Weah wasn't in poverty. Not because he had food to eat. President Weah had his own home at the age of 17. St. Tumani George.
You play for IE and IE.
President Weah had his own home at the age of 17. St. Tumani George. No, I beg you, let me ask St. Tumani.
He not a home at that age.
You are talking about poverty because he played on IE that he can afford his 1 meal a day. You say he wasn't in poverty no more.
You're a big player on IE team. You're not a small player.
Because poverty is subjective.
It's very relative.
That's the thing.
No,
that's what
the mistake you're making. The mistake you're making.
Who determines poverty?
So say that. But Mariah, you interrupt me one more time, we'll get all the shit you moderate.
Okay, I'll moderate.
So you want to interrupt me? But let me say something, guys. It is important for us to understand. George Weah dwelt in poverty. He lived in poverty. Even playing for IE, it was rough. Look at the players then today. And you tell me that George Weah wasn't in poverty. God bless him when he took that trip to Cameroon. The breakthrough started when he took that trip to Cameroon.
How old was
you cannot sit on this show and compare the left of Manneh Weah to the left of Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings had never seen the day of poverty in his life. We got to say this. Mr. Cummings had never, ever went to bed hungry in his entire life. And you want to talk about poverty. Mr. Cummings don't even know what case me is. in his entire
Really?
life.
You know what
How
the main work
do
is?
you know that?
Mr.
Really?
Cummings
Stop
cannot
it, man.
Oh, yeah, Jerry,
black
I better
people.
work on tonight.
Mr.
Oh,
Cummings
you think I
cannot
didn't
the
want
main
to
work is me.
Joe, when I read to
man.
John, they get very me.
No, what do you mean the main workers meet there? How you
What
mean
you
the
mean
main
by
workers
Joy?
Let me
meet?
come
No,
in.
They're from Maryland.
matter
You
yet.
from Maryland? They keep from Maryland.
That's something, you are planted on the show just to cut me
Yes,
when I'm going through, right?
yes,
You know,
I see. Go
Let me
ahead.
say this:
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is, we'll come to you.
No,
you were close on the issue, Kev. Wait,
no, Ben, let me come in. You were close. I want you to
we're in
close.
the battle.
No,
We're close on the issue.
Ben,
Let me
I
say
want
this.
you. No, Ben,
I got it.
what I want to say.
If I can get lucky.
Yeah, don't be
Ben,
scared to make it put you in the back.
yeah, I'm not even worried about him. Ben,
You lucky the
Ben,
I want
you
to
to
say.
close. No, Ben, on a serious note, what I'm about to say, I want you to close on it. I want you to close on it. Yeah, what I want to say, I want you to close on it. You see, first of all, let me just put you something. They were in Weston, Diba and Joe were in Weston. That Brazil, they were going, and Diba and Diba State and Joe when we were in high school. Not Tonelli on the maybe I know you know that Tomlin, but I was Brazil they were going at that time. But let me say,
Brazil?
yeah. Yeah, you're too young to know that.
Come on,
Joseph,
they
No, that's really different.
Brazil.
Yeah, we want to see different
You know the conversation we had.
No, but let me finish now.
I respond.
Guys, you calm down. You calm down. Listen, listen, guys.
You
Tomlin, you know, this. You know, I'm being serious here. Ben met Joia in politics. He was too young to know who Mana is.
That's not where I'm bet Joia.
No. Let me finish.
What a young man can talk. You're giving chance.
But he's saying the wrong thing.
No. You know what I know?
That's always.
You know what I know? The year you was born.
Look at
your age. So I know you don't do money.
What's his age? What's his age?
The year you were born and your
He's
age.
20 years old. 41 now, right?
Yeah, so calculate this year.
Oh, born 1941.
Yeah. Then you will know that when Mane were playing in his prime, they may have a 5-year-old, 4-year-old. So how you will know Mane?
4 years better, my man Toba.
Hey, my man, let me finish now. We have to let the
so
people.
How old are you for you to know?
Listen. Let me finish that.
You want to win Sierra Leone? I don't know how he knows about Liberia. I don't even know how he knows about Liberia. He was in Sierra Leone. So how do you? Can you imagine Kev lecturing us about our
Liberia?
This is amazing. Kev was in Sierra Leone. He lecturing us about Musta.
Nice.
Okay,
let me finish now. Well, nice try, guys. Nice try. But you by your age, if I come to Mariah was a wartime baby. 89, 90, that wartime baby. So
wow.
So
she knows nothing about Liberia, Joe.
No. She 89, 90 born, that wartime baby. So they cannot speak about the man we call money. The pride.
So let me ask you, Kev. The game that Joe, they said Salisa opened the Joe close it. Mariah wasn't born.
Oh, she was somewhere else.
That game I put fire in the country.
Yeah.
Salisa opened it.
But Kev, what's that game?
Where he was
No, let me finish.
You are on the people for that game. You are on the people for that game, Kev.
Let me tell you this.
Yeah?
No game that will play on SKD.
I mean, the ball on the fire, you can travel.
You can say that. Yeah, you can say that. But no game that Mane played, I was not there. I was there.
So you have your conversation there.
Let me finish this. The reason that some of you guys can talk because most of those things people told you guys. Some of us were around. What I'm saying is that the Chairman Ben Savin, I'm not criticizing people from a middle class. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Kudos to people who from the middle class. What I am saying that when you try to turn your political leader into a man that grew up in a poor family, then you're deceiving people. The man said he's from a middle class. Say it. Ben, unless Cummings' mother was a big time DK, what she was the queen of all the DK all over Liberia. Yeah.
Really?
But to sit down in Liberia and pay your child's school until they finish. Mind you, not only the school fee, you gotta pay rent for them, you gotta pay everything, feeding everything. We know how it is to pay that from DK. I want somebody to tell me who Ma was selling DK. And two, I want y'all, both of y'all, to tell me how much DK seller made in Liberia during the 70s. You're telling me how much they'll make.
God bless me. Are
you finished?
No, I'm not yet. Let me finish. Let me finish. So what I'm saying is that when they said that DK and Point Four, all they were saying that he from that poor family. That's what they were saying. That's not this. So we are not saying what Stanton was trying to say here. What you see was trying to say here is that you put the two people. One survived through his own talents. One had a boost from family, not on his own. Up to today's date, you cannot show me anything that Cummings created from the scratch. Wow. Even the school that his name is on is from Coca-Cola. Even his party, he bought his party. But one, he did everything by himself. What we're saying here is
who will dispute what Kev is saying? Why are you shaking your head?
Saying here, that's what we're saying.
I'm going to respond to that. I'm going to respond to
that.
I'm going to respond to Kev. Mariah, don't respond to Kev. If you respond to Kev, it will be obvious.
If anybody can tell me that Mr. Cummings is the one that from the beginning that created ANC, I want to know.
So maybe. No,
we're not talking about. We're talking about money.
You're not talking about money.
Okay, so Kev.
No, Ben, I'm not done.
No, you're done.
Don't rush the thing. Take it easy. Don't rush it. You get more time. So take it easy. If anybody on this platform can show me that anything that Mr. Cummings created from scratch on his own, I'm ready to leave Spoon Network today.
Very good. Okay, so
let me
anything that he created.
Kev.
Yes.
Pause.
So that second.
Kev. Pause. We gotta listen to them now.
You know
what your ammunition, soldier.
Let me say this. First of all, it is pathetic that Kev is even doing this. Second, you have two men who have.
They will not answer my question.
Wait, my man.
I beg you, please.
Okay. You have two men with different stories. Both stories are stories of resilience. Both. Cummings could have not taken advantage of the opportunities that he was giving. It was a choice. So this notion of you passing around, so Gerard George Weah, who had gone to Brazil or Cameroon and be mediocre and not become world best. Two men with resilient stories that took advantage of opportunities.
I disagree with you, Kev. I mean, Ben, I disagree with you. Ben, you finished something. You know I'm going somewhere. Why are you interrupting me? You know I'm going somewhere. Why are you interrupting me? Now you want Ben to finish. You know I'm going somewhere. Why are you interrupting me? But let me say this again. Let me say this again. When you say that Cummings bought ANC, you are insulting
the hundreds and thousands of well-intentioned men and women who, by the way, Stanton, wait, let me finish. Let me finish. I never said Cummings built ANC. I said when Kev said Cummings bought ANC, he's insulting the well-intentioned men and women who, by the way, came from his party. They came from his party.
But is that Kev that's saying that the people said that it's still ANC? Councilor Gould so ANC to Cummings. Let Kev talking.
Can I finish my thought?
The man that okay, it was Costa, Anthony Gould, and all of them that still ANC to Mr. Cummings.
Let me finish my thought.
Record saying it.
Let me finish my thought. What I would say is this. I would encourage Kev Hassan to project the president as a president from the slum, which is his right to do. That is his story. The difficulty Kev is having with that story, though, is that the president from the slum has abandoned the people in the slum. That's the difficulty he's having with that story. And let me state this. The reason why Kev is using this argument against Cummings, right, is because it is simply because every nation is aspiring to middle income, to become a middle income country. And Cummings can make a
difficult for you to defend ANC. It's difficult for you to defend ANC. Like go on back.
Cummings can make an argument that his story, the experiences that he had, is the experiences that every Liberian
is unique to the international body, but not to Liberia.
He got to the international. So you saying Liberians? Are you saying Liberians are subjected? Are you saying Liberians are resigned to poverty? Are you saying Liberians are resigned to poverty? Liberians are not resigned to poverty. Liberians are in poverty because the hand is being dealt. That's the reason Liberians are in poverty. It's because of failure of leadership and the hand that they've been dealt. And guess what? The reason President Weah, in fact, one of the reasons why President Weah resonated so well was because finally the people believed that they had someone who understood their story. The reason Kev is having this problem that he's having is because he has to defend the record of the last 5 years, which he can, and I'm sure he can. So I will end on this note.
Thank you, man.
I will end on this note.
Do Mariah a favor and end.
First of all, Kev, I will encourage you to learn from both Cummings and Weah's story. The two have inspirational stories, by the way. One left the slum, used his talent, his God-given talent, had discipline and hard work, and conquered the world of football. The other, yes, came from a middle-class family, but took advantage of the opportunities that were handed to him and came and conquered the corporate world. Two Liberian success stories that should be honored. Now one trying to trumpet the other. That's my message to you, Kev.
Okay, Mariah.
Can I answer?
No, Mariah got to come in. Let Mariah speak.
And I don't understand because Kev spoke, I responded. Kev spoke, when I respond, Kev was speaking again, then we'll respond again.
No, Kev not coming back. Mariah speak. We gotta go to Timberland George and we gotta move on. You're trying to Kev to speak.
Stanton, I understand, we joke about it. It was like Kev for living in Freetown, so he didn't understand Liberia at the time. I was not born, but there's something called history. And when you study your history and you read about your country, you don't have to have been born at the time. Mr. Cummings clearly stated in that video, at that time, Liberians were well off. Liberians were better off. Mr. Cummings grew up a decade before George Weah time. A decade before George Weah time. And at that time, you had other African countries sending their people to Liberia to go to school, to go to hospital. Yes, Liberia was in a better place then. It was a decade later than it is even now. And so people who were middle class may not have been rich. Even today, middle class is not rich. I gave a simple example of my own story, and it's subjective because we don't have a solid middle class in Liberia. Anybody who can even afford more than people who are subjected to extreme poverty will consider themselves a middle class. You have teachers who, even though they're struggling to pay their own children's school fees in other schools, will consider themselves a middle class. You have nurses who consider themselves a middle class. If you compare the people who live in Monrovia as compared to those who lived in the interior, their standard of living, their access to opportunities and certain basic necessities, people in Monrovia will consider themselves. So if I consider myself a middle class growing up, like I said, I didn't even realize we were actually poor. But because my mom sacrificed every penny that she had, deprived herself from buying cars and building houses or gold chain sets, and her friends used to tell her and ask her, what are you trying to prove? But she knew this was my opportunity out of that life. So she invested everything that she had into my education to give me a solid education at Mesurado. Do you know the people who went to Mesurado? Lebanese ambassadors' children, government officials' children, you name it. But I was there to get that solid education. After Mesurado, I went to St. Edward's in Logantown. Did that humble beginnings, even middle class can be humble beginnings. You cannot continue to dismiss that. And you said something about Mr. Cummings' parents were even paying school fees and stuff. You don't even know what you're talking about they were even paying for his rent and all of that. When Mr. Cummings went to school, he lived with the first wife of the late Professor Emma Sawyer. That's where he lived. As a young African man coming from Liberia to go to school because his parents could not afford to pay his rent. So he was stopping with their family. You don't know that. Or because a woman said in Ducafle scraped her money together and they decided that their only son should have the opportunity to move the family forward. And they will sacrifice and send him to the US and beg families to host him while he goes to school. Makes them rich? We need to stop. You won't talk about Mr. Cummings didn't build anything. Are you serious? What has George Weah built that lasted? What? Mr. Cummings runs a company that has lasted for years. Mr. Cummings has continued to build institutions, build things. You want to, what Joe Weah businesses? Where the football store are on Randall Street? Where the football club that he had? Where are the things that he's built? The very George Weah you want to claim not building anything.
Yeah, you next. You next. Mariah credited from the school she didn't pay, so the store broke down.
You have to understand that Mr. Cummings has shown leadership. Leadership. George Weah played for all the teams he played for. Which one he built? Even when he played and was the best player and won the Ballon d'Or that they had to fly from Florida to New York recently, he still was never the captain of any of his European teams because they make the best leader captain, not the best player.
But yet
he has never won the captain band of any team because he was a good player. He was the best player, not the best leader, not the captain. The captain is the one who ensures that the players' well-being are met. The captain is the one who ensures the strategy and stuff along with the coach for the game. The captain is the leader of the team.
But you're captain for our country team. Don't start.
Because like bro, we don't honor excellence. That will main person and that will main captain of the team. Where the Lone Star go?
What
the Lone Star ever win?
Can you get out and come back in?
The people who know and can identify leadership
Mariah, you're having a feedback. You're having a feedback, Mariah.
I'm having no feedback. It's not coming up. I'm having no feedback. All the European countries that he played for, who can identify leadership in players, never made him a captain because they knew he did not possess the leadership abilities. But the main captain, like Bob God, said he was giving the team money or because he was a beast star. We don't identify leaders, and that's why we're even able to make him president. So let's be clear. Like Ben said,
to answer this
I will
thing.
conclude.
Yeah, let me
Like
man.
Ben
No,
said,
can I answer this thing?
Hold on. Let Mariah finish. We'll go to Dr. Richardson. Let me
No,
finish.
you see, CEO,
No,
they are singing the same song.
Let us sing. We'll listen. Go ahead,
at
finish,
the
Mariah.
end of the day, I would never diminish George Weah's achievements as the world best, African best, European best. He did that. He brought pride and joy to this country. He represented Liberia
So
in the sports
you will never
world.
diminish all of
I will
his
not
achievement,
diminish
right?
his achievements as a four-star. He earned that. Similarly, we will not diminish Mr. Cummings' achievement as a global business leader. When he started work in the US, they're not a power company. They're not a uncle company. They're not a family member relative. He came up by his bootstraps as a black man in America. And he did that. And we need to acknowledge it. He came from humble beginnings. We may have come from poverty, but it does not negate the fact that Cummings came from humble beginnings. And we have to respect it and not try to denigrate it.
Thank you, Mariah. Dr. Richardson?
So I will admit that I do not follow football, so I did not follow George yet. So I was depending
on. Don't mind seeing football.
No, I actually didn't follow.
Your mom was 6 years old when she
came to America.
I just heard about these guys, through listening to Abraham talking about football. So yes, I'll be the first person to admit that. But what I like to say is that I think both men have inspiring stories.
She was 6 years old when she came.
I believe that both. Can somebody put him in the back, please?
Thank you. He don't want to get a control. He has purposely decided not to give me the control back because he won't be the one to control.
So both men have inspiring stories. Both men can serve as a model for any young Liberian to emulate. But my greatest disappointment, in George Weah is when we carry the narrative that he was born in Islam, he was born in, Gibraltar. You expect that he will look back and make Liberia a better place for the people that he grew up with. That is the most heart distracting thing, that he, in his leadership, is not even promoting or creating Liberia to be a place where these young kids can benefit from. This is what good leaders do. This is what good human beings do. As you progress in life, you look back and you want to give back to the people who you left behind. But it is my experience that he has the opportunity to do that now for all Liberians. It is my thought, what I've read. He's not doing a good job in creating Liberia for all Liberians to benefit. Maybe, yes, he gave few dollars scholarships to people individually. Maybe some people can argue that he did that. But right now, he's in power. He has the greatest opportunity to do that, and he has not done that at all. He has demonstrated just poor leadership in those areas, and that's very, very disappointing to me. And I hope that in his next life, whatever he's going to do next after being the president.
You hope in his next term, right?
No, in his next life. I didn't say term. I said life. Whatever he's going to do after this leadership, after this presidency, because I want him to say leadership, that he will sit back and reflect and find a way to be able to help the people in Gibraltar that he left there.
Thank you very much. Let me say something, and Sintumani George and Kev can take us home. Mariah, you were speaking about tuition, Mariah. What I'm looking at, Mariah, is 1977. 1977, you say Mr. Cummings' parents had to pay $4,000.
I said not more than 4,000.
I agree, I take it. I agree, not more than 4,000. I agree.
And even see it said 2007 plus.
Mariah.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
1977, $4,000. You know why it is today?
2007.
If
Yes,
you,
it's about 20,000.
there you go. If you can afford then 4,000 to pay a tuition per semester, you are not considered a poor person. Not in the year 1997 in this America. If you could afford,
Nobody said
no,
poor.
let me finish now. There you go. You know, when I ready to tell them bang, ready to come in with a face, hey, Sister Moran,
Yeah, you know, but you keep
you don't cut
listening
me
like
off.
everybody said that Cummings
But,
was
yeah,
poor.
but you don't cut me off, guys.
Nobody said you were
I
poor.
have my right. I have my right to my
Yeah, but
own
Spencer, you're
opinion, though.
right now. Can't
Ain't no
infringe on other people's right to information.
but we listen to you, Sister Mariah. We listen to Brother Ben. We listen to every one of you. But now, when I'm ready to speak, you're interrupting me. I'm really
You're
tired with this,
interrupting and yet,
and
but put what on the paper?
I would just pause to just
During
be
that time,
quiet
the
and look
US
at
dollar
you.
and the Liberian dollar were almost
1977. 1977. Honor our late president, Tottenham. 1977. You're talking about 4,000 United States dollars.
okay.
You are not a poor person.
Okay.
You are not a dukkha eater. You are not a kismet sucker. You are not a pan cabbage eater. Just stop this joke for the sake of God.
Jesus.
Just stop this madness. We know the history of Mr. Cummings. God bless Mr. Cummings' parents. Thank God that his parents sacrificed everything and more. When we talk about Duca Flair, I do believe, and I stand to be corrected. Mr. Cummings' mind wasn't saying the Duca Flair that on the floor, people will take one t-shirt and put it on. No. Apparently, Mr. Cummings' mind was selling wholesale.
Stand on YouTube.
Mr. Cummings' mother will go and buy my containers. Manifestly, guys. It's
Spencer, you
not
need to
a
stop.
laughing thing.
Oh my, you trying too hard tonight.
man.
You trying hard
You're trying
tonight.
too hard. Even the
But
people
can
that
I-
laughing
but can
at
I-
you.
But can I talk though?
How you used to go collect him my money
Now
that
you
people
used to
used
go
to
there.
credit?
Now you used to-
I know
Yeah.
about Duca Flair because what Mr. Cummings' man would do when the 5-8 continue coming in the country, fed up with Duca Flair, spend tens of thousands of dollars, she would distribute.
Well, at least you were selling Doga Flair. That's the bottom line.
I'm not disputing that.
Right?
But the degree of selling Duca Flair, let's be real with the Liberian people tonight. But guys,
so
I would not stay on this topic because it's very important for us to move on. We're gonna stop here. Tomorrow you go last. I will not bring Kev.
Yeah. Okay. You know,
last real quick.
like was saying, right?
No, CEO, I have to. No, CEO, no.
Careful. Let me talk.
No,
Careful,
CEO. They call my name.
Who call your name?
Let
Who
me
call your name? I didn't call your name.
No.
Let me talk, Kev.
I will not do that.
Yeah, I gotta talk. I gotta talk.
Let's see tomorrow speak, please.
So look.
Yeah, he sent you text. He said,
Yeah. So look.
You ain't do that out of the quote.
No.
The man finna eating my mind today. They want I will withdraw that zeal, Kev. Continue to stir me.
I see. So now the thing is that look, honestly, right? The president, let's be honest, man. Leadership is not determined by poverty, whatever the case, how you govern, how you, everything. So that would not be on to poverty. But the issue is that President, we are right. He and Salim Saya know. The president abroad were the two favorite players of President Doe. They rode the car, President Doe. They chill with him. They did a lot of stuff together.
Stop doing the cheap politics.
No, but I'll be honest with you now.
No, you are not trying to.
You're
not trying to pacify the president and
no,
say
but I tell you,
at the age of 17, the president was still poor. God bless the president when he left the country.
Man, don't do that.
At the age of 17, the president had no home. At the age of 17, the president had no car. At the age of 17, he had no car in Liberia. He owned no homes in Liberia. Am I lying, Sintomani Jones?
You know what? Leo Johnson just put something very important in the chat just now. So Stanton with a spoon. Should I deny little Stanton the right to run for president of Liberia because he's your father? I mean, you his father, and he has never suffered in his life.
Yes.
Should
So
I?
Can I answer? Can I answer that
Yes,
question?
yes. That question is for you.
Guys,
Yeah,
can I
boy,
answer that
well.
question?
Thank you, Leo, for that question.
Thank you.
Yes.
And Leo is our friend. No
Yeah,
hard
he
feelings.
is.
I will highlight.
Exactly.
I will
Thank
highlight.
you.
So
You
stand on the
your
capture
theory
should
and
never
capture.
run for any. Let me say this, guys. We are not asking the Liberian people not to give Mr. Cummings the chance that he can run to be president of Liberia. That's not the argument. I would do no such thing to any Liberians. Mr. Cummings, per the Constitution, he can run, he should run to be president of Liberia. But Leo, Liquide, Napuru, Johnson, this is our argument. Don't frame Mr. Cummings as a poor man, born a poor man. Accept the fact Mr. Cummings was born to a blessed family, a family that had resources to send him to the United States of America, that he obtained a better education, a family that had resources, that he saw no poverty. Let's establish that fact.
Yeah, but
And that's my argument.
No,
My
but
son today, because of
Does that mean it's
my
not a humble
upbringing.
beginning?
No, I'm not saying he never had a humble beginning. If you look at the man, Mr. Cummings, to me, Mr. Cummings is the most humble man. To me, he's humble. I will not take that from him. But I will not give to Mr. Cummings what I would give to George
But humble beginning is not
about
even about
poverty.
your
No, but I
attitude.
think
We
Mariah,
are not talking about humble
the
beginning. We're
point
talking
here
about
is, I
poverty.
think this argument, I don't think this argument hold water. The reason is because I have never, and I say it again, I have never heard Cummings try to portray himself as a slum dweller.
And the argument,
and if anybody has tried to do that, they've been disappointed.
It's George Weah who brand himself
I've never heard him. Every time I've heard of Cummings' story, every time I've heard of Cummings' story, he talks about his story of a family from a middle-class family.
The beautiful part of this Cummings story.
I heard him say that.
Chairman, the beautiful part of Mr. Cummings' story, guy, and I beg you listen to me, Liberians, those that honor our voices tonight. The beautiful of Mr. Cummings' story is the story that he tells when he said, I left Liberia. I traveled to the United States, obtained an education, suffered and worked my way up through the ladder in the corporate America. That story can only be sung and celebrated in America. But I call that a Peabody. Mariah, don't say nothing. That a Peabody, please.
You are right. Mr. Cummings went to school, he came back, he worked at LBDI
Everybody giving an echo.
before he went to do his master's. So he didn't just go to America.
Mr. Cummings worked at he worked, you correct. Joe Weah hired him. Madam Salif hired him. He get that on his profile. He worked in Liberia.
Oh, that's
he worked in Liberia.
When Mr. Cummings was working at LBDI, Joe Weah was making millions.
And Joe Weah hired him to work at BWI.
When he was working at LBDI, Weah was making millions.
Kev Hassan talk to us and let's go home. We gotta go to the phone line today, man.
Oh, you said Kev, I'm talking.
Let me say this. You see, I know you guys are singing this same choir. I don't know if that's how you want Liberia to be. That some of us can.
Yeah, could be singing the same.
No, that's not the way it should be. You know.
When you have carrots, you can be.
Let me address this. What CEO, man? You see, I keep doing this thing. You'll stop me, mute me, but let me have my day too. I relax and listen to you. Let's address this thing. This kind of slush went on from and Louis Brown and the ANC talking about the president never been a captain. With the president, and they should know stuff they speak.
Why are you talking about those things?
See, I want to talk about
European team.
I want to talk about it. Can I talk about it?
Team.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to talk about it. Let's make it clear. When the president went to Monaco, when the president went to Monaco, when the president went to Paris Saint-Germain, president went to AC Milan. Let me tell you, when the president went to AC Milan, there was a defender called Franco Barassi. He was 38 years old at that time.
Ben, you're young. Ben, you don't know that. You're
And, man, yeah, see, I don't want to get really upset, man. Seriously, you stab me. I'm busy.
Man, we have problem.
They should allow me to speak. You should allow me to speak.
You know when the truth not get
because to fool the Liberian people deliberately is evil. When the president went to Monaco, there was a defender called Franco Barassi. He was a captain. He was a defender.
We are was a captain.
You understand? And you cannot take the ban from Franco Barassi because he was an Italian captain. He was a captain. He was there. Soccer is not how the best player you are. It's seniority. It's not because you're a best player in soccer. Because Franco Barassi. Then when you went to Paris Saint-Germain, you have the goalkeeper.
If that soccer we're going to eat, that soccer will eat in that country.
Lama. You see, CEO, you know why I will allow them? Because you stop me. You always tell me, Kev, seriously. But they're doing it.
Bring this football team back here. That's what people need right now.
Don't let Kev
if anybody talking. I'm just saying that to you. With all due respect, CEO, I will interrupt.
There's no argument. We're best soccer player. No argument with that.
I listen to you, CEO. I kept quiet. But they're doing it, so I will interrupt. So let's do it.
So you're not captain for Monaco.
So what I'm saying is that when you enter a team, you get people who already captain that they are captain the national team. You don't take it from them. And at that time, a black man to play in a senior team.
Can we move from that?
So you're not captain for PSG. Let
me put that aside.
Jump on the record. I support you on this.
Let's go.
We got some information reaching us concerning the rest in the country.
Yeah,
the shortage of rice. We got to go at 6:30.
Let me end with this.
Who the co-captain paying from the main captain?
I want you to start with the rest issue first, Kev.
Let me end with this.
He got no information yet on the rice. So let's Kev, let me say this, Abeki. I'm not going to talk about George Manor. We have football achievement. Thank you, CEO. If anyone on this earth will dispute those achievements, then they are not
nobody.
Why you didn't stop Mariah for talking that nonsense about the man is not a leader? When you allow Mariah to spill that garbage,
he was never captain for any European team.
Never. No, listen, guys. Let me say this, Mariah. We gotta move on. Let me say this, Dr. Peabody.
Let me come in, man.
We gotta move on, Mariah. Please, Dr. Peabody.
Let me come in.
Nobody cannot say nonsense on this show. That's a bad word, please. We shouldn't use nonsense. Go ahead.
Which European team you are captain?
Please, I'm in the Mexican.
Mariah kept getting fed. That all the reason.
No, not what Mariah saying. Not what Mariah saying. You know why I get him mad? I get him mad to my good friend CEO because he pounced on me not to interrupt. He allow you guys to interrupt. I'm going to interrupt now.
So guys, listen.
CEO always tell me behind the scene, don't interrupt. But now interrupt me and now we interrupt.
All right, Dr. Peabody, 1 minute. Kev Hassan. Thank you very much. But right, please, no interruption. Leave Kev alone. We're going to talk about the rest issue.
Why not just interrupt now?
Let me say something to you. Kev, you're not going to interrupt me.
You can
No, not
interrupt
you.
Mariah.
Not you. I'll interrupt them. Unless they do the same thing. Unless they do the same thing to me. If they don't, I will interrupt them. See you.
Listen, guys, let me say something. The only person you can interrupt on the show that Mariah. She interrupted
I
you.
didn't interrupt you.
None of us interrupt you.
Man, you mumble a lot of times saying this thing, man. The thing is, you know why I'm upset? Because I love interruption. Because interruption that's my game. Interruption that's my game. I love it.
You will not take us from this one. Couple of
the rest, then I will go into it.
Breaking news.
All right, guys, let me say this. Nobody's gonna interrupt. We're gonna go back to our drawing board. Is important. Our brother, Pastor Peabody, is in Ghana. Let's hear from him. Then we'll talk about this rest issue, please. Dr. Peabody.
Thank you, CEO. Good to see this wonderful group of panelists here who are carrying the news around the world. But let me say this here, man. We're talking about the bread and butter issue. My married son, I had the opportunity to meet over 600 Liberians yesterday who continue to live in poverty in a refugee camp, have no opportunity. Kev, you can go off because I know you don't want to hear this. But the fact is, I had the opportunity to meet over 700 Liberians yesterday on the Buduburan refugee camp who live on an object property, have no food, have no job, have nothing to do, who want to go back home, but there's not an opportunity. The opportunity does not exist for them to go back to Liberia. The conditions are not even favorable for them. We need to be talking about this kind of situation on what the government can do to get these people back. The fact is, our country, our people continue to live in difficult conditions. And it has been proven that this government is struggling to even bring the relief that the Liberian people need. The government cannot do it. Nobody will tell you that President we are will deny that President we are reached the highest level when it comes to soccer in the world. No African has ever got to that level. But he becoming president of that country. Did he change anything? We are friendly with some of the billionaires around the world. Let's talk about the guy who owned AC Milan. Some of those rich guys, have he brought them to invest in Liberia? The guy that owned AC Milan is a billionaire. Why you didn't go and get him to invest in Liberia? Why you didn't get other people that to go and invest from France and other places? Our people are suffering, and it's time that he gets out there and try to bring the change to Liberia. And have not been proven. We're talking about Cummins. Mr. Cummins, I don't know why we want to hold people. You have to suffer before you can lead Liberia or before you can bring change to Liberia. That I don't agree with, folks. We talk about, oh, this guy have not suffered. He grew up in bread and butter. It doesn't matter. We cannot blame people for their condition in life. We have children in America that are living a good life. They have everything that they want. If they want to go back home to help, will we say that because they didn't suffer or they didn't go through the war, they didn't do that to help the country? We can't hold them responsible for that. I mean, their parents created opportunity for them. Some people grew into very poor parents, like some of our parents were not rich. But we create an opportunity. Some of us have to create opportunity for ourselves. But the fact that when it comes to governance, President, we have not demonstrated that. And we see here, look around you here. I've been in Ghana for 3 days. Yesterday, I cried everywhere I went. People want to go home. They don't have the opportunity to go home. They don't have food. Some of their homes are broken down 2-3 times. They have to rebuild this home. Thousands of Liberians are living and suffering. They want to go home. They don't have the opportunity. And who to depend on is the government to create that opportunity. And we have not seen it. And I think we should be talking about Mom Mary's son leading now. What can Mom Mary do to help our brothers and sisters that are suffering? But it's been an interesting journey, brothers. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the issue. Let's talk about Owen Brown going to South Korea and trying to look for babies. Let's talk about that. Let's not run away from this kind of issue. Let's talk about what is going on in our country. Let's talk about the rights issue. People are struggling. Let's talk about that. Let's not defer our discussion here tonight. Let's talk about the failure of this government and what they can do, what they need to do to help our people. Thank you, CEO.
So can I just
So
say
thank you very much, Dr. Peabody, for everything you want us to talk about. But yet and still, we got about 23 minutes to go. Thank you very much, Dr. Peabody, for bringing up the conversation about the Maritime Authority diplomat, both of them that got caught up in the allegation of rape. We discussed it, Dr. Peabody. When you were in the air traveling to Ghana, we had a full discussion on it, Saturday and Sunday. The rest issue, we're trying to invite someone permanent on the show from the government to speak on this rest issue. So we do not want to preempt the discussion. But yet and still, we were driving in that direction to talk about the rest issue. Talking about our brothers and sisters at Bujumbura camp that want to be resettled, go back home to Liberia. It's important. It's very much important. And we've been, hearing different information about the situation at Bujumbura. So we say thank you very much, and we hope your trip is a success. While you are there in Ghana, we hope you can have a breakthrough. Find your leaders, speak to them. And if you need transportation to go back to discuss it with the Liberian government, we will help. They are in a very serious condition. You are not the only person saying it. And we hope the government can listen. And we pray your trip remains a success. And thank you for sharing this with us tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Something, please. Actually, Dr. Peabody, I watch you and I've been following you on social media. I just want to say thank you for the work that you're doing. Your story is inspiring. It is commendable. This is what we talk about, somebody who left a condition, improved himself, and went back to help the people, or at least identify with the people who you left behind. So I just want to tell you, thank you very much. Your story just had me like really emotional, and work well done. This is what we expect people in leadership to do. This is what we expect all Liberians to do.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. And the sentiments is across the board. Seem here to me. I've seen your videos, and I think you know what you're doing is exemplary. And thank you for your service. I think a lot of the people out there. I mean, I saw the video with you talking to the guy. I think it was a pastor or something, and it was very touching. So just continue the good work. We know what you continue to do, and whatever we can do to buttress and help you, we're always available. But be safe out there also.
Yeah, the body, man. Good. God blessing on you, man. Just from that phone call, 30 years ago, they have done a whole lot of things, and I just continue to praise you for your mission and give you all the blessings, and God will reward you in multitude, man. God bless you.
Thank you. And CEO, I'm gonna say that Spoon has been an advocate even for the people in the refugee camp. Because yesterday when I was walking, a lot of people ran up to me. Are you the guy on Spoon? And I said, yeah, they couldn't believe it. They said I lie, I'm the only one. But they said we listen to you guys. And they give me a lot of things. They said, can you guys just pass some of our messages over? We want to go back home. We're suffering. And
do they have a committee? Do they have a committee that
they have a lot? Yes.
Why are they not engaging? But then we'll discuss that beyond the door.
Right. But Spoon have been a strong advocate. They watch our show, even with the limited resources they have. They watch our show. I met a lady yesterday who been in the refugee camp for 33 years.
Wow.
And she said, I watch your show. 33 years she been right there. She said, I have broken my home down like 4 times and I rebuilt it. They said we should go home. And I rebuilt my home. Not only is she doing that, but she's building a home for kids who don't have parents, like orphans. And she's building it. And I went to that place yesterday and I said, look, we're going to build this place. We're going to help you build it. But I'm not sure whether they're not going to break this one down. She said, when they break out, do it. I love to help. 33 years since she left the Civil War, she's been in the camp. You know, it's very emotional when you walk around and see people and see how they live, and no job, no food, nothing to look up to the next day, only hope. It's interesting. It's interesting.
Wow. Mariah and Kev.
Um, I mean, we've ended the silence of the guns, but we still have to deal with the repercussions of our long officials and horrific civil crisis. And next year will actually be 20 years since we signed the Accra Peace Accord in 2003. And we still have not been able to bring all of our people back home. We still have not been able to reconcile all of our people. We still have not been able to bring justice to those who are aggrieved. We still have not been able to do a lot of things as a nation. And I think this trip that Mr. Peabody is on, Dr. Peabody is on, is a reminder, once again, as a people and as a nation, that we still have a lot of work to do. No Liberian should still be refugee in another country. If they choose to stay, it should be as a matter of choice. But for these young people to be begging and asking to be relocated back to their home country, it tells us that it is not by choice, and we have to do something about it. So, I just want to say thank you to Dr. Peabody for the work that you're doing. And I hope everyone listening tonight, you know, can be reminded of what's at stake and what's ahead of us as a nation and as a people, and to do this collectively. Liberia deserves better, Liberians deserve better, and together we can truly create a better country for our people, where every citizen, regardless of class, status, age, tribe, religion, political affiliation, can feel a part of our country's growth and development, and be proud of their country, um, regardless of where they are, because they would believe and know that the country cares about them. So, thank you again, Dak, and I hope we take this seriously.
Yep. Kev.
Okay. Let me say this. One, Dr. Peabody, I went in the back because I had a call to from my son. That's one. Two, I don't believe in this political activism. I don't. I'm not. I'm not in that shoes. Um, uh, what's going on in that camp is Liberia issue. We all want our folks to come back home, but to kind of speak about it in that kind of political manner, that is disservice. That's completely disservice. Invoking people who uh, allegedly committed something in another country, the South Korea and all that. The president not doing this and that. That's political activism. I don't think we should go down that road. We should be in this together. We should be in this together. I can say this. When our girls had a problem in Amman, opposition reached out to Nathaniel McGill and he helped. When I was student in Ukraine had issue, folks reach out to Nathaniel McGill help, and that's the government were helping at that time. This government have shows that they can help Liberian people. to make it in a way that this government that's fitting that being but there's a noise coming from you, Dr. Peabody. That's been political. I think the problem of refugees in countries is a Liberia issue. We should be in this together. Opposition reach out to the government for our girls in Amman.
Omar?
They acted. So I know this is the politics season. I know they want to blame everything on this government, but it is a disservice. It's a shame. It's disgraceful, distasteful. I don't know what to say, and it makes me angry because people are playing with the lives of Liberians, giving wrong information, lying to them. No, it's a Liberia issue. What about the funds they gave, millions of dollars that they gave to repatriate our people? What about the funds they gave? Anthony Muriah working at government. What did she say? What did she say to her boss about the same people in that camp for over 30 years? Come on. That's where I go and say this, my favorite word, and say, amen. Why? So why can't we just look at this thing as a Liberian issue and let's fight it together than to go and demonize this president who do has a record of helping, who do has a record of going to that camp, admitted by Dr. Peabody.
There's no record. That's a lie. It never came there when I was there. That's not true. That's a lie. That's a lie from the pillar of hell. That's a lie from the pillar of hell.
So Peabody, you admitted on the show.
That's a lie from the pillar of hell. I've never admitted. Don't lie on me.
People in radio land.
No, do not lie on me, Kev. You are lying.
Ago. But
can you find the tip and play?
But now,
that's a lie from the pillar of hell.
But now,
I've never made it here that the president went to the camp. The 6 or 7 years I stayed on the camp, the president never came there, and he still come here to visit and does not visit the camp.
Now you can see Dr. Peabody admitted. Dr. Peabody,
you're trying to make it political. You're trying to make it political. Well, let me tell you, I lived there 6 or 7 years, and you trying to make it look political. I'm looking at it from an emotional point of view. We got lived there 7 years. Don't try to promote the president here. The president been the president. Has he visited the camp? Has he visited the camp? The last 6 7 years.
There, so you're not the only one.
President, have he come to the camp to visit as president? Have he visited the camp as president, Kev? The last 5 years, have he come on this camp as president? Has he visited the camp as president?
Okay.
Has the president visited the camp since he became president?
You interrupted me.
Yeah, you are, because you're not saying the truth.
Okay.
Let them answer the question now.
I hope. Well, what I'm saying is that when you come on the show a week and a half ago, openly, and you said the president visited that, and all of a sudden you have a political amnesia.
No, you have.
It's not for you. Let me move on. The tip is there. The tip is there. The tip is there. The tip is there.
You have a political cycle here. That means.
Okay, fine. The tip is there. You know, when the tip comes on, you can repent.
All right, guys, let's go. Let's move on. Thank you very much, Cap. Thank you very much, Cap. Dr. Peabody, want to appreciate you.
We hope that
Professor,
we
can
can
I say though,
continue.
just
We hope
please
that
30 seconds?
go ahead.
30 seconds gone.
And look at you. No, I just think it's dangerous when we try to put the government as helping. You know, Kev mentioned the government helped the Oman people, the government helped the students in Ukraine. It is government's duty, responsibility. When you're helping somebody, I mean, not your responsibility. You can't be
That's not a
generous.
discussion, Mariah. That's
You
not a
cannot
discussion. The
come on
government
the
will
show
care
and
for
try
them.
to
The
mislead
government will,
Liberians to
the
think
government,
government help.
the
Opposition
government will
reach
care for
out
them.
to
That's
government
not.
and they help.
That's
Opposition
not.
are only supposed to
Because we're
be
not
reaching
there.
out to government on their
Imagine the government that we're not
responsibility.
there.
Every time there's an issue with Liberian in
Guys,
every part of the world, it is the government's responsibility through the
but that's
diplomatic
why the government took
to
charge.
ensure that these issues
That's
are
why the
addressed.
government
I
took
just
charge.
wanted to clarify that you cannot make it seem that the government was doing Liberians a favor in Oman or in Ukraine or in
Nobody said that.
Morocco or anywhere. He said the
Nobody said that.
government helped. So I wanted to clarify the government
Nobody
cannot
said
help.
that. The
It's a
government, the
All right,
responsibility.
all
the
right, guys. Listen,
it
listen.
well
I think
for our people.
Kev, thank you. Dr. Peabody. I want to say thank you very much, and I hope your stay in Ghana can help. Let me say something. I think Liberia does have an embassy in Ghana, and the ambassador from Liberia is in Ghana. If you can you reach out to the ambassador and ask what's the status of our fellow Liberians that are living on the camp? How have this government helped? If you can, and
I'll be
you
there
please,
tomorrow.
yeah,
I'm
come back
5 minutes
on
from
the
where
show.
the embassy is. Yeah, I'll
Thank
be there
you, and
tomorrow.
come back on the show and let us know. I'm receiving information that some folks on the camp they have refused to return home. They have refused. Though you have some of them that want to go
Yeah,
back
I've heard
home,
that too. Yeah,
but
that
some of them saying absolutely they are not going back home.
yeah.
So I will ask you, Dr. Peabody, that we should be very fair as the ambassador.
Exactly.
Talk to the camp leaders, and let's see how best we can help. I have
But
5 years since President Weah took over, and I think the band in communication. Most recent incident when the Lone Star went to play somewhere in Ghana and James were present, few of them called me from the camp, and certainly I spoke to them. And Zoka Wilson intervened on one or two occasions, but I think this can be resolved. It is with the people. They have the right to go back home. If they want to stay in Ghana, that's fine. But let's just get to the bottom of it. And I hope your visit is a plus, Dr. Peabody. We appreciate
definitely,
it.
I will be there tomorrow. But I can assure you, the 700 plus Liberians I spoke to yesterday, they want to go home, and they do not have any support, even from the embassy, to go home. That's what I know.
Yeah, so
I'm
when
not
you get
denying the
to
fact
the embassy,
there are some who say they won't go home, but I spoke to about 700 who said if they had a bus ticket to even go by Ivory Coast and go home today, they'll go home because things are very difficult for them.
well, that's a good thing. That's a very, very good thing that they are willing to go home. And I hope that you can engage the ambassador and Spoon can follow through on this. Some of us that have the privilege to speak to the president, we can tell him, so listen, we have this amount of people, number of people that want to go home. And I think he can look in that direction because home is where the heart is, and home will always be Liberia for some of us. All right.
Yeah,
So we want to be, we want to
Mark.
be, we want to be grateful to God for that, guys. Let's end the show.
Yeah.
Let's end the show. And again, I want to say let's do our closing real quick. It was a beautiful show. Tomorrow we'll discuss the rest issue. Uh, and I hope that we can come up with our best. I'm trying to get someone to talk to us about this first issue, and I hope the person accept our invite. But the president said it's on front page newspaper today. The one that coming up tomorrow, President we have said President George Manda we are said we have rice up to next year. He said we have a lot of rice on the market. It's on the front page newspaper, and by then the importers will bring in more rice. So
we're going to be having this conversation. You remember President Weah went to the Freeport, he visited the warehouses, tons of rice. And the president is assuring the Liberian folks that, Mariah, how much for the bag of rice now? If you know.
$20.
For the 25 kg,
$20.
how much was it a few weeks back?
I believe it was 18 a year ago before I left for school. It was around 13, 15.
Okay, so now it's $20. All right, it's a good thing. And you guys want to add anything to
But
the
it's not just the
conversation?
price, it's the availability.
It's not available.
It's hard to get
But
rice now.
but can we? I don't know, but if we can get some of the importers, maybe someone if they were willing to come, because it'll be good to hear from them too.
I agree with you, Dominic. I don't think we should speculate. I think this is such an important national
That's
security.
what you see. That's what I'm trying to avoid, not to
Yeah,
speculate.
This is such a national security issue.
Yeah.
This is a huge platform. I think if we can get folks from commerce, if we can reach out to the Minister of Commerce, we can reach out to importers. I think let's get the people who have authority on this issue to be able to speak directly to the Liberian people on this rather than trying to insinuate or to speculate. The only thing is that I did listen to the president where he said the last time he visited the port, which everybody saw he was, the people told him that we have rice in the country until next year. And I think he also said, I listened to the clip. He also said, so he will be going to the port tomorrow. That's what he said. So except something changed, maybe he will be going to the port tomorrow, and we
So
will be able to hear.
I also want to add that it's important that we open the lines. I mean, maybe people can talk their experiences because I've seen people post that even the retailers are requiring people to buy other items before
I
they can
heard
buy.
that you got to buy the Nino
You gotta buy
milk before they
Pampers,
give you. Yeah.
you don't know, you gotta buy other items
But
before they
why?
can
Why are they doing that?
um
No, but
you
what
know
is
Let me tell you something, and that's what I don't want us to speculate, because
right.
I think the president visit to the Freeport of Monrovia will be very important. And thank God he said he's going there. Number one. Number two, if anybody try to do this on the side thing, Chairman Ben, you got to buy fire cool bag before we say you one bag of rice. I think I'm looking for Mawani Deeks. I'm looking for those that are involved right now to fight against those things, because I don't think it will serve the country and our people right.
Yeah, but that way we
Also,
can get in touch with
also,
Jefferson Davis.
also as this platform, I think it's also important that we investigate. For example, the subsidy that was given to the importers,
The
was
14
it
What,
million,
actually
11 million,
I
right?
think
or
11
14,
or 13 million?
not 14 million, I think.
14, right? Somewhere around between 11 or 14 million, because I think that was a
And it has been is that was investigated because certain
we
importers
have
said
to investigate
they
whether
weren't.
the importers
Yeah.
did get the subsidy, because remember, if the importers incurred cost to bring the rice in, you will see the rice in the warehouse. Going to visit the warehouse does not change the rice situation. You will see it there. But if they've not been given the subsidy to offset the cost,
So then
they're
they will
not going
give
to
it out.
Is
they
it
will
certain
out.
certain on them were
But I
giving
think we can
7 million or less than.
also add the president have now removed the tariff on the import of
But
rice.
for rice that coming in later, not for the ones that already
Yeah.
been
Not for the
in,
one that already in.
Oh,
not for
okay.
the one that
All
already
right.
in, because the ones that already in, they need to get the
So the
profit
government
and
should
then
pay, and if the government owes them for the subsidy, they have to pay them.
No, but some of the importers they
Makes
are
sense.
saying that if they don't give them the share the subsidy, they will
if
not.
they receive the subsidy, why is it that the
Certain
price
people
is
got it,
not in
certain
the
people don't got it.
market? If they haven't received the subsidy, why have they not received the subsidy?
I
Minister of
understand. I have one
needs to answer this
confirmation.
question.
I have one confirmation from importer, and he agreed he will speak to us by way of the phone. We hope we bring him in tomorrow, and I hope we can get some representative from the government to speak on this
I
rest
think you should make
issue.
an effort to reach out to the commerce
And
minister.
then we're going to see the president at the Freeport of Monrovia
The
uh,
finance minister
visiting
too.
those warehouse. Yeah, we'll reach out to
For
Seven
finance.
Square
There were three
likewise.
persons: the Minister of State, the Minister of Finance and Commerce that handled that subsidy. There were three of them in
So
charge.
yeah, so we'll speak to them. This something is very concerning, guys. But we'll address it tomorrow, folks. We're gonna address this rest issue tomorrow. That we can guarantee. We'll talk about it. Will be our conversation tomorrow. Without any further thing, I just like to say, let me wish my little niece
I thought you said she was coming on.
Man, I tried calling her. You ready? You want her to come on, man?
But you said she come on. You don't want now.
If you come on, she will not leave. Let's sing happy birthday song to her. If you bring her on, it will not be. So, Kev, you confirming something from us? Oh, I see you with your phone in your ear. That's why. But I will agree with you, Mariah. Please, if you can get somebody out there also to take a picture and get an actual press from different corner, we really appreciate. Please.
Yeah, man, we can do that.
Princess, you ready? All right.
Yeah, I think we should reach out to the Commerce Ministry people. I think it will be important to hear from them on what's going on.
All right, I beg you, Chairman. You asked for her. She's on the phone. We can't bring her live. Princess Adjivon, happy birthday. We're going to put your picture up. I'm here with Dr. Richardson, Antonio Moraria Kula, Chairman Ben Sevi, St. Tomalin George, Honorable Kev Hassan, and Dr. Peabody. We're going to put your picture up. That's Princess Adjivon on her way to school this morning. Today is her birthday.
When a baby, when a girl.
She is cute. Look at those boots.
I don't know where that red boots coming from, man.
I love
She's
it.
really cute. She's really cute.
I like the attitude. Yes,
She not red shoe, eh?
Yeah.
I love it. Happy birthday, sweetheart.
You cute. Look at those earrings and a necklace.
All right, so Princess, we'll sing the birthday song to you, then I can rest, okay? Are you ready?
Young fashionista.
All right, well, let's sing the birthday song to Princess Adjivon. Princess Joie Adjivon. Happy birthday to you.
Happy
birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you, Princess. Happy birthday to you.
The only person who is singing Princess, the only person that is singing that Kev. Kev not singing your birthday song.
Yeah, can you feel me, man?
Princess, what your dog need?
He's back.
Princess, what's the name of your dog?
Buddy hit me high.
Wait.
Princess, what your dog need?
What's the name of your dog? What's the name of your Jake? Princess said her dog name is Jake.
Oh, Jake.
Oh,
Jake.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
All right.
We learned the other dog name. We got Jake, we got Roxy. My dog. Roxy.
How old are you today? You turned what? 8? Which grade you in? Third grade.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We want to say congrats.
Nice.
Uncle Stanton and Auntie Lau, cousin Stanton Jr., Aaliyah, everyone, your grandma, everyone, everybody on the set say happy birthday to you. May God bless you. May God keep you. And may God give you another 100 years. Happy birthday. You're welcome, Princess. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Oh, she's so
all right.
Happy birthday.
All right. So at least Uncle Stanton did his thing. Thank God.
What's the name of your dog?
I got 2. One is Aubrey and one is
They're asking for dog name, eh?
Okay.
Man, where you going with this dog thing?
I'm just asking.
Where you?
I need a dog name, eh? Because somebody asked why you get dog name.
You have a good night. On that note, I'm done. I'm out.
Good night.
Guys, man.
Good night, everybody.
See you. Yeah, have a good day.
I'm out here looking hungry, so.
Nothing.
Ruben, you looking real hungry than James, though.
And he ate before coming here.
No, James. Before the man told you that from the beginning of the show. You got 3 times a day you eat freely. Don't do that to the Rufus.
Rufus can eat 4 times. I know where he can go.
Well, you don't have to go anywhere, right over you. Rufus. Who people say deck on tea. Everything gets time.
Everything has time. Oh,
Rufus ate before coming.
If I wasn't waiting, if I wasn't waiting for time where I am today, I wouldn't have reached this far.
Where you are going to be?
Oh, okay. Thank
If
God.
I would have gotten myself involved into a lot of illicit things,
yeah,
I would be among people and people of class, as they call themselves.
Seriously, you got to be very patient, Rufus.
But I'm very patient, and I know that I have a destiny.
That breakthrough. Rufus,
you do nothing.
Rufus,
you know,
let me say something to you, all right? Let me give you something.
No,
hold on. Good day. Hold on 1 minute. Rufus. What I learned something when I went to church on Sunday, right? And the pastor said, this poor lady, widow, she and her son, the prophet went to her and said, can you give me something to drink? She said, okay. And when she was leaving, the prophet called her attention again. If you get any food, give me some, let me eat it first. She turned to the prophet. She said, you see the 2 steak? I just got a handful. I'm going to go make the handful. My son, myself,
and we die.
And
for
we
my
die.
son, they eat and we die.
And we die. You know what the prophet said? You can tell me what the prophet said. The prophet said, make my own first. Make some for me first. Let me eat. Imagine the woman last for she also to eat and die. The guy said, no, give me it first. And at the end of the day, when she served the prophet first, that was her breakthrough for life. Rufus, God which gave you your breakthrough.
Amen.
Never give up. Never give up.
Never will I give
up. It may seem so difficult. The race is not to the swift.
But he that endureth
to the end. It's not to the end. And God that see your faithfulness will see you through.
And one thing I have,
banners. But with God, this life has banners. I'm going to leave this with you. This life, no balance. But with God, all life has balance.
And
God must see you through.
One thing I have as my mantra here is this. And one of the things that my mom left with me, I should always be content and trusting and believe that he's able. Where he will leads, his grace is always there to sustain me.
Pastor Rufus.
There are others who at my age don't even have a meal, but I have kids. By the special grace of God, they can go to school, they can have food to eat. Others that older than me, they don't have.
Rufus.
So I'm always focused.
Rufus. And me, I sit out here. I came from where? It's small dry rice, Rufus. I go drink small pepper soup, exercise, and go to bed. That His grace. Few years back, in the 90s, Rufus, I used to go look for Kiss Me.
One of your friends told me your story.
Thank God.
People don't know. Rufus, let me tell you something.
But
no, Jim, hold on. I used to go look for pan cabbage. You cut the bottom part, you cut the head part, you split the thing in the middle, you open it. You get as little pan butter. You cut your pan cabbage, that's it. No rest, nothing. You're lucky you get kids being there that you own of meat. Rufus, but God that see and know your faithfulness.
Yeah, let me turn
up. Smile on your face on that day.
Yeah,
let me give up.
Yeah, let me talk.
Tell your own. You want to tell your own. Tell your own.
No, but you know my own is a fresh story, right? GTA Security Service right there. I was should I call it gate man? In Liberia we call them
gate man. Yeah, you're a gate man.
Yeah, I was working for GTA, and my friends and I on 2nd Street, we ate pepper collars for more than 1 week. Your friend get $20, you'll go buy a pepper collar, you buy 10 hour water, you guys set. We went to $50 Kobo shop to see myself in Europe today. Is sometimes I can still be thinking I stay around 2nd Street there. When I look behind, I see skyscrapers. I'm like, I never see this since I was born.
It's good.
It's
All you
just
need
the
to
journey
do,
begin.
all you need to do, you just need to hold on to God and change in hand. It may be difficult, it may be hard, but never give up.
No
We
way.
will laugh, we will joke, be humble, trust God. It shall be well. Never take yourself to be better than any living being. Never ever. Be submissive, be respectful, and wait on God's time. Because His time, that's all you need.
God waiting time is lifting time.
It may seem so long. It may seem so difficult. But it is right there.
Weeping may endure to the night, but joy comes in the morning.
But it come in the morning. Never sit there and say that, oh yes, I'm there now. I'm here. I'm the man. Oh yes, I don't respect you no more. No. I won't talk to you. You know better. No, guys. We need better Liberians, and we will be a better Liberians. Never ever despise your friend. Even those that you left behind in Liberia, show them respect. Call them, speak to them, laugh with them. If you can help them, help somebody. And help them till you feel that you help them. Don't mind the naysayers. Oh, you give it to him today, he eat it, he will come back again. It was because of that person God brought you to this purpose. Never give up on helping. Because the more you help, the more blessings shall come your way. Don't say that's my last. God want your last. Look at the old lady. It was her last. She said, man of God, just my son and myself. We eat this and we die. Just her last. When I listened to the pastor yesterday, I said, yeah, it's good to give, man. Reduce your pride. Reduce your anger. Reduce, you know who I am. You know I'm a CEO. Forget that.
You know
how
I
many
love
cars
makeup.
are driving? Forget that. You know I'm the man. No. The Bible says, humble yourself before the Lord, and He will lift you up. It's time for us to humble ourselves for the better family, for the better Liberia, for the better business, a better job. Humble yourself. This too shall pass. But James, I'm grateful to God for you, man.
Yes, see that.
I am grateful to God for you. I'm grateful to God for Rufus. I'm grateful to God for Emmanuel. The breakthrough will continue. And everybody, as God liveth, we shall see our place. And we meet not only in Liberia, though, Rufus, not only in Europe. We will meet here in this America. And we sit and eat and drink and laugh and say, thank God He has done it again. Y'all keep strong, man. And I appreciate every one of you, from the manager, Miss Titi, the business manager, Patricia, deputy manager, Emmanuel, milkman, Joseph Soko Conan, all the young men and women that are working to make Spoon Network a great place. We appreciate you. And one day, you will be where James is today. And you will laugh too. For my wife, my family, and my entire team, we say thank you. Everybody that came on the set today, we're not paying them. Jeremy Ben, Sambi, Thomas and George, Kev Hassan. No, I think Kev Hassan told my founder that today. How you call it? Dr. Peabody, Dr. Richardson, Mariah. We ain't paying any of them. But guess what happened? They sacrificed to bring you the news, to tell you about Liberia. So if we wrong you, sorry, forgive us. That's the moment. But we'll never give up. We will speak truth to Liberia because Liberia deserves better. You'll have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow. James, go eat your pepper soup. James, go pepper soup and rest today. You know what you tell me first? See, you can't visit. Oh, we're gonna cook you. You know, we scheduled to go visit them. It's just 6 hours away. He said, see you if you can't visit. We we're gonna cook you potatoes green. I say, "Who you cook for me?" I bet you, yeah. I'm bad law. I'm gonna get you lava bido in your house.
To be fair, I'm a serious cook.
No, I will
use
cook.
my hard talent on the Akin to Europe.
You know, you're not doing messing. You don't need to get talent. But you know what? When we come visit y'all, I will do the cooking. Okay?
No. We will cook.
Okay. You have a good night, man. Yeah, bye-bye.
All right, thank you.